What's up, fiends? Lucard here. Today, I have the awesome Jay Thornton with us today, the writer, director, pretty much everything of Cactus Jack.
Pretty much.
So, how's it going, man?
It's going all right.
All
This is
right.
actually my whole podcast background. I had to
Oh,
pull
there you go.
down because we're moving. I got to be out of this house by Thursday or Sunday. We just sold this house.
Oh, nice.
But this is the last thing I'll record in this room. This being the room where Jack's dad shot himself and where he tortures Sam's
Oh,
character.
wow.
So this room's fucked up. There's still, I think, some stains in this shit that the owner's gonna have to deal with.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. I am honored. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. I'm thinking about hiding a copy of the Blu-ray like up in the rafters in the basement with a little note like this shit was made in this basement because they have no idea.
Oh man, that would be epic, actually.
I think I have to do it.
Yeah. They'd be like, "What the hell is this shit?"
You'll be calling the Exorcist in and shit. Yeah.
then they put it in, and they're really gonna be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
All right. So
You're
for
like,
those that
either
don't
we
know,
overpaid or we underpaid for this house. I don't know which. But,
right? Is that a special or
right. Sorry, I interrupt a lot. Ask Gull in our podcast. We do.
That's all right. Please interrupt as much as you like. That's all right. That's why we're here, man. So you can talk about your movie. So for those that don't know, Cactus Jack is a crazy ass movie. It's about basically it's about a vile worm of a man, I guess you could say, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain without getting crazy with it. But put it this way, he's one of the most vile characters I've ever seen on film, personally, um, and that's in large part to your writing and of course Michael Gull's incredible performance.
Yeah.
Um,
It's legendary.
so how did the idea come about for Cactus Jack?
The idea came about basically because my brother and I were screenwriters stuck in just like development hell in Hollywood when that hamster track going up for bake-offs and open writing assignments for stupid shit like bad IP from fucking 80s Atari games. It was ridiculous. You get caught in this web, but you're like, oh, the money, the potential, and
Right.
agents sending you for meetings. We wrote a serial killer movie for Zac Efron that'll never see the light of day because
Heard about that.
it's funny. We actually ended up going to them after like rounds and rounds of development. So it wasn't even the same script we had pitched him anymore, and they had bought that kind of thing where it's just morphed. And we were like, why don't we stop all this and just do a fucking Ted Bundy movie with Zach? And we'll write it. We'll keep it the same deal parameters we have now. We'll just make it another draft, whatever. And we'll just do the true story no one's ever done of Zac Efron playing, or of Ted Bundy just marauding around the country and escaping captivity and running through sorority houses, all the crazy shit he did, right?
Right.
Like, if you want to play a serial killer, let's just go big instead of this make him
Right.
up shit. And they're like, that's an awesome idea. Let me get back to you. I'm going to talk to Zach. We were like having brunch at some swanky restaurant with his assistants and shit. Then, like 2 weeks later, we read in Variety in the trades, Zac Efron to play Ted Bundy. Like, what? So already there was this script out there, this Ted Bundy script that had been on the blacklist, which is like a
Oh, damn.
prestigious thing in development. So they were like, there's already a movie there with a director. Let's just go do that one. And we kind of got left high and dry. And then
Damn.
I got diagnosed with cancer. So I had a kid I just had, ended up having chemo. My first day of chemo was my kid's first birthday. And we went into this really weird period where we're like, what the fuck are we doing? We had this thing that fell apart. We just got bamboozled out of maybe doing something awesome.
Damn.
I got this cancer thing going on. But through it all, even with chemo, Chris and I were just like, we got to make some shit instead of being stuck in the screenwriter hamster wheel. Like, we got in this to make
Right.
movies, you know? So we got a
Right.
7D that we had sitting around, a Canon 7D. And we're like, let's make a short film, just you and me, dude. 2 dudes and $15. What can we make? So we had this neighbor who asked us to watch his house while he went to Ohio or some shit.
Mhm.
And he's an older guy, and he's got, you could say, maybe some pack rat type tendency. So his house was kind of interesting and creepy, kind of moody and shit.
Right.
We're like, all right, we did this little thing called Knock Knock, which was just about this schizophrenic dude off his meds hearing noises and shit. But it was really cool, shot well, played in a couple fests. And people love that film. I mean, if we ever do another special edition DVD release of Jack or something, maybe I'll put that on there because it really did inspire us to do this. We were just like, we can make something with no crew, no cast for the most part, something legit. If we keep it in a single location and you have one actor. And my brother, Chris, he played the character in the short. Neither of us are actors. He bit the bullet, basically. But I'm running around with like a chemo pump hanging off of me, pumping chemo shit into me while I'm filming. It was crazy.
Oh, damn. Wow.
So coming out of that, we're like, let's just make a fucking feature, dude. And if we're going to make a feature, let's do some crazy shit that would never get by any Hollywood gatekeepers, would never have a chance. If you're playing outside the lines, why are you going to try and color the same way you would within the lines? Like, nah, let's go punk with this shit.
Hell yeah.
So it's basically what we did. And we just started doing the Robert Rodriguez thing and looking around us. What do we have around us? What are assets that we could pull into this? Okay, we got a pretty creepy basement here, Midwest, we could use that. We've got this Abraham Lincoln mask. Just throw it in the pile of shit we'll use. We'll find a way to use it. It was really almost like Whose Line Is It Anyway or some shit where we had a bunch of props. We're like, what do we do with this? And one of those assets was Gull, Michael Gull. I had seen him around in Milwaukee, and I'm like, this dude has never been given like grade A material, but I feel like he's a secret weapon, like this nuke that no one's armed yet,
Yeah.
Like, let's arm this motherfucker and launch him. So we had him in and just started BSing with him. Like, we want to make a movie. We don't even know what it is yet, but we think you could be somebody to just do some damage with,
Yeah.
And we started talking about what scares us because we know horror, we're always been horror writers at heart. Even when we write dramas, there's kind of, horrific elements to them, suspense, dread, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I was like, what really scares us? For Chris and I growing up, and we grew up like watching The Exorcist at like 6 years old and shit. There was no rules, we're like typical horror kids who grew up watching anything, right?
Oh, yeah.
So unlike my 9-year-old kid who's still watching, cartoons and shit, but that's a whole nother conversation. But Chris and I, all of our favorite shit, like Stephen King, we were raised on, but his best shit to us was the non-supernatural. Apt Pupil, Shawshank, those kind of things.
Right.
Are just his best, most well-rendered stories, I thought, because they have real character shit going on. Not to say that others don't, of course, but there's just something potent about that. And so we're like, so we don't want to do anything supernatural. That doesn't even scare us. What really scares us? And we just started thinking of like hate, just minds hijacked by hate, whether it's terrorists, whether it's, white fundamentalists or whatever. But we had Gull, so we're not going to make him some jihadist.
Right.
What is Gull going to play? This little scrawny, bald white dude. All right, we're going to make a movie about a white supremacist. So it's not like we had this, ideological axe to grind or anything. It's just like we want to make something that scares the shit out of us, that's human, that's grounded. Monster, or the most horrifying monster is man, essentially. Yeah. And usually those people are just broken, poorly programmed people anyway. You know what I mean? These monsters, it's not like they're just some Cthulhu shit that were summoned. Like, these were little innocent kids who became these people, right? Through traumas, through bad inputs, etc. So we're like, how do we humanize this guy to a degree, but not so much that we're like hitting the nail on the head too much or on the nose, you know what I'm saying? Where it's because his mother did this, his dad did that. Some people have said the movie doesn't delve enough into why he's like this, but it's like, do some math. Like, how many scenes do you want to? Yeah, you just need a couple,
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, man, you pull the string, I'll just go.
Yeah, go for it.
That's kind of how we came up with this, I would say, though. Long story short.
Exactly. That's the brilliance of this. So you and Chris just kind of came up, and when did you decide to just go full tilt with this thing? Like, just go balls to the wall.
I mean, we've always been the kind of dudes, even the shit we were screenwriting in Hollywood, they always had to pull the reins back on us and make us tone it down and shit. So our instincts have always been crazy like that.
Nice.
So it was kind of just nice to have the governor off, And that's the other thing is, once we decided we were going to make something authentic, an authentic character study, like the language of it, I almost felt a responsibility to talk as awful as possible. because I don't want to use kid gloves. I don't want to nerf this thing. If we're going to delve into the horror of it, let's go full bore. And I get that it's super triggering for some people. We didn't make it to trigger and shock people and hurt anyone. It's really supposed to just be a fucking horrifying experience where you come out of it like, oh my God, I need a cigarette or whatever, you know?
Right. And that's exactly what I said when I did my review of it. Like the entire first half of the movie, it just keeps building and building and building. And then eventually finally explodes. But that build is insane. And it's just like it just keeps going, and you're like, son of a bitch, is this thing ever gonna end? Like, is it you know?
It's redundant by design, though. Like that's one criticism people say is he's saying the same shit over and over. We're like, exactly. It's like when you get cornered by that drunk dude who's just saying the same shit. You're like, get me out of here, but it's a hate monger, and you're in a basement, and he has guns, and you can't leave.
Yeah,
that's the horror of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it really is. Like I said, it's not your typical. It's not quote unquote horror movie, but it is horrifying.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, the point is, what does a horror movie set out to do? To scare you, to put you on edge or whatever.
Right.
In that sense, that's what we set out to do. We call it a horror of rhetoric, actually, because we're in an age now where politically and ideologically, you'll see people say things like words are violence, words are weaponized. Right. And once we started equating language to violence, I'm like, what's the filmic equivalent of that? It hasn't really been done yet. Let's make a slasher film, but instead of using machetes and fucking pitchforks and shovels, he's using words. And that's basically what it is. He's Jason Voorhees marauding around Crystal Lake, but he's using words and ideas to do it, you know?
Yeah. Well, like, if I saw Jason on one side of the street and Jack on another, I'd walk right into Jason. I'm just telling you right now.
I mean, Jason's a big imposing guy. Maybe if you saw them next to each other, you wouldn't. But yeah, I hear you, man. Jack's nasty.
Dude, because this character is something else, man. And so did you partially crowdfund the movie?
We did do an Indiegogo campaign. I think we raised like $4,000 or something.
Okay, so a little bit
through that, and then I have a rich kind of angel investor buddy of mine who just always loves our shit. He was like, I'll throw in $5,000, but don't put my name on it because it's going to piss off a lot of people, and I sell shit to a lot of people. So, you know, for his his fiscal concerns, he stayed silent on it. But which awesome. I love, man. That's when you know someone's just they're down to ride along, but they don't even care about credit or any of that shit. Back end, none of it. He was just like, here, boom.
Exactly.
So we did crowdfund, but our production budget ended up being about $11,000.
Wow.
I had a buddy who gave us $5,000 initially as the first producer in to make a proof of concept trailer for the crowdfund campaign. Ironically, that proof of concept trailer didn't crowdfund as much as he gave us to make it. We didn't spend all of it on it, though. We had a few grand left, hence 4 plus the 5 that guy gave me a couple grand left over. We had about $11,000 in production budget. But it was pretty interesting, man. One dude in Australia, I had no idea who he was. He's a friend of a Facebook friend, thought it looked dope because of the trailer we made and threw $1,000 in for an associate producer credit. And then as we're making the movie, you know how fucked up Gull's teeth were, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the reasons we cast him too. And it was great too. One thing I would do to fuck with him and just make him feel on edge was shoot his bad side all the time. I was like, that's the cinematic side. He's like, dude, can you shoot from the other side? Shut up. Fuck you, dude. No, we're after the fucked up side. That's why you're here, bitch. So his teeth were literally starting to fall out. He had been in a car accident and they just got fucked up and just kept spreading and falling out like the year before or something, right? So they're just a mess, dude. And it's like a fucking poorly made cemetery in a hurricane or something. They were just dropping and shit. Like, oh my God, dominoes about to fall. So that guy who had thrown in the grand, I went to him. I was like, look, this sounds crazy, but here's some of the shit we've shot and what we got going on. If you like it, would you consider coming in as just a executive producer for another $4,000? And we'll, you know, throw you a piece of the movie back in, call you a consultant, whatever, to get around fucking rules. But miraculously, the dude did it. So this guy financed Gull's new teeth by buying into the movie. We just took that money and just gave it to him, like, get your teeth fixed, because we're not even going to be able to, you know. Luckily, we had the device that he's wearing a mask through half of the movie.
Right.
We shot most of the shit. So there's only a couple shots in it where he has new teeth and we had to mask it and hide it, you know. But for the most part, luckily we had already built in. That was because, man, you talk about continuity nightmares.
Whew, yeah.
Going from those teeth to Jeffrey Dean Morgan teeth, I think he ended up getting. Like, you know, you get to pick your own, like at the Apple store with teeth and shit, right? I think it was between Jack Nicholson and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and he went for Jeffrey Dean Morgan. It's probably a good choice. Jack's teeth are great, but they're so Jack.
Yeah, yeah.
Wrong Jack. So, yeah, it was just so much crazy shit like this. I mean, it was really almost like a Terry Gilliam-esque experience making this movie. Just this odyssey. It was 4 years long. When we started conceiving of this, Trump was way a dark horse joke candidate still, and all the polls said Hillary was going to win. So when we started with Jack Trump obsessed, that was way before
y'all were way ahead of
any of this Trumpster shit existed or whatever, right? So we get blamed a lot for that. Like, we're reactionary with this movie. I'm like, dude, we preceded all this shit. Like, we called the shot, but we had him talking. He was a Trump guy, and our initial plan was actually to shoot live on election night and have Gull play the character on election night and watch the results and respond to it and everything. And
wow, that would have been something.
But we ended up it wasn't feasible, and we decided to pivot. There's so many crazy pivots this production took. Like, it wasn't a found footage movie at first, for one thing. We pivoted to found footage after like the first day. Like, fuck this. All right, get rid of the whole crew. That's what I did. I made the mistake of taking that budget we had and doing a true production where we got a cinematographer, we got a sound guy, we've got several PAs on set, we got camera rentals, lens rentals, lights. Now we're on a hard schedule. I got to get my wife and kid out of the house for fucking 8-9 hours or whatever so we could do this, you know? And we end up spending like 1/8 of the budget to get this one thing shot, which is that glorious fucking serpentine tracking shot.
Yes.
Set to the radio shit. It is dope. But I will say, as I was saying in the chat to JT's discussion with Gull, that the handheld shit I shot on a gimbal with my phone for test footage to show the DP for reference, if I was forced to, I would go back and put that in the movie, and I think it would work with the aesthetic the movie's in, because eventually it became this whole handheld found footage thing, you know? And that's kind of looking at that test footage again after that day. I was like, is it worth it? Is it that much better? It's better. I'm not saying the guy didn't do better than my handheld shit, but is it that much more worth it? No, fuck it. Let's get rid of everybody. I'm going to shoot this shit on phones. So we pivoted that way. And then it became this super dope, intimate thing where it's just me and Gull. That was it. Chris had moved back to California by then. So Gull would just come in for a few hours at a time. Some days he'd come in. We weren't feeling it. We'd just sit there and bullshit for like 2 hours.
Nice.
And it was so leisurely. And yeah, it took us forever. And some of the people who threw in on the crowdfund were like, what the fuck are you guys doing? We're like, hey. Great shit takes time. We're not working in Hollywood. Fuck all of you. So we just made it like that. But it was always productive. Even the days where we didn't shoot, the conversations we had would inform some dope shit that would come out of it, you know? So I don't know, man. Just the two of us working that way, I made rules for myself. Like, I got 10 minutes to light the scene. Because that's the thing. I've been on enough film productions. I PA'd on like shit, Transformer 3 shoots and shit before, like terrible Hollywood things. And I'm like, so much time is spent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, ridiculous.
Now, if you're Steven Soderbergh, you got a crew setting up the lights for the next shot before you even get there. When you're doing an indie like this, you're waiting.
Yeah.
40 minutes between shots while your actor sits there with a thumb in his ass for 40 minutes and then has to just turn it on and say all this hateful shit. I was like, no. I want a close set, just me and him. That way he doesn't even feel social pressure, because it's weird saying that shit with a crew in front of you.
Ooh, I can't
How much
imagine.
of this does he believe? Oh, I'm getting triggered. We had a guy who was playing the documentarian at first who got triggered by this whole thing and like left crying the first day.
I believe it.
It was bad. It was ugly. It was crazy, absurd scene. I actually have it recorded too, but I'm gonna go watch it for fun one day. But once we got alone, we were just like, man, let's just go balls out with this thing. Say the nastiest shit that this guy would say. He's not censoring himself.
Right. Correct.
We can't, if it's not a choice at that point. We have to go as hard as he would to do it right. So, apologies to anyone triggered, but that's
it definitely worked.
Yeah, it's the nature of the beast.
Because couple things. It's shot amazing. So kudos to you on the phone. I mean, that's freaking insane.
Yeah, here's the thing. I did use aftermarket lenses. So, you know, like Tangerine was shot with Moon Dog lenses or whatever that shit is, right? So moment lenses a lot of people use now. But I shot on a Samsung Galaxy S7 and an iPhone 8. That's what this movie was shot on, because we started making it like in 2016.
Yeah, right. So that was the latest, greatest. Yeah.
Shit, the phone was a little old then. It wasn't even top of the line. But it just goes to show you, it's like, it's empowering, I think. Like, I mean, I almost want to write a manifesto to a generation of filmmakers saying you have the power to make a crazy fucking movie in your pocket. You just got to think of the logistics of how you're going to make it.
Yeah.
Don't try and make it the way Hollywood makes movies.
No, because then it's going to look and sound like everything else.
Too. Yeah, and it's just like, you don't need it. There's so much extra people and ways. Like, be autodidactic, learn to edit, learn to do this, learn, you know, you can learn key lighting. This shit isn't genius. You know?
Yeah.
Passively, at least. And be smart again. We built in the device that it's a found footage movie, and the footage was shot by an amateur. Just, you know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. So that works too. And then I think not enough people also talk about Sam's role in this movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thanks for bringing him up.
He's the documentarian in this movie, and he does a hell of a job too.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I mean this poor guy who seems like a fairly regular, you know, dude. Like, he gets tormented and dragged through everything. And it's yeah. So, and I can't imagine being in that situation, and then two, he was a tricking trooper. Like, the shit y'all did,
dude.
Yeah,
he's one of those things we took stock of. Sam Cozell, who played that character, Chris Sandberg, he's a Milwaukee guy, actor, writer, artist. And the first short film we ever made back when I was in film school at UWM here was called Bitch. And he was the best part of it by far. He just came in on a random walk-in audition, saw a flyer or some shit, you know. And he was great. And we cast him in it. And years later, we like don't even show people that movie anymore. Or we recut it to be a silent black and white film and just have done weird shit with it over the years. Nice. He's constantly the thing we always were like, he's fucking good. If we ever make another movie in Milwaukee, I'll put him in it. So the second I decided to pivot off of making this Oliver Stone-esque mixed medium artistic fucking cinematic movie to found footage, right? I was like, now we need a documentarian. Who is that? Boom, Sam. Perfect juxtaposition, just energy-wise, to Jack's toxicity. You know, he's this kind of just nice guy, doesn't want to ruffle any feathers, but at the same time, he plays with fire and gets burned. There's a hubris to his character where he's kind of like the soft bigotry of the left you might hear people talk about, right? Mm-hmm. Like that way Jack corners him in the stairwell. It's a very telling scene where he switches. That's the first time he turns the tables on him. I'm filming you now. How do you fucking like it? And he's grilling him, right? What do you think about blacks? What do you think about Mexicans? All that shit. And the guy's answers, we made sure they were a little revealing that he's no saint necessarily either. Everybody has their bad inputs, like we said, that they grew up with, you know, around the dinner table or whatever. You can't expect everyone to be these perfectly formed ethical beings and just crush them when they're not, you know what I mean?
Right.
So this guy, he got in over his head thinking he had, oh shit, this is compelling content, man. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to make this doc. But then you see a couple times where he's like, this is going far, man. I feel like I'm going to end up getting killed or something. If you don't see me again, it's because of this, right? And initially, again, I'll just do spoilers because we're fucking grown-ups. And studies say that spoilers don't even really ruin your enjoyment of a movie. So he died at midpoint initially. When Jack killed the mother, he killed the documentarian too, and he took all the cameras and shit. We made the movie that way. We have a cut. We had a rough cut that we even submitted to some festival saying it's a rough cut. We're finishing it with music and locking sound and shit. All right. But it still didn't sit right with me. And then that initial ending, he still got doxxed by Anonymous and everything. Gull, actually, I was talking to JT about this. He kind of mixed that up, the timeline. He still got doxxed by Anonymous in the original after he makes his show and pisses off every faction of humanity. But the ending then was him down there ranting kind of at the end in the bunker where he's huffing fucking liquid wrench and he's out of canned food and everything, and, you know, he's just losing his mind. And then he hears something upstairs and he fucking takes off, but we stay in the basement on a static camera just looking at the empty space and the shelf that had all the canned food. Now it's empty. And he goes upstairs and we see on the security camera him go up, and then boom, he explodes off screen. And we had like this 8-minute long, like heat level gunfight with whoever's up there. Oh, we just sit there for minutes just hearing shouting and scuffling feet. It was epic, dude. It's pretty fucking badass, actually, as an ending. And then eventually he stumbles out. Like, he took them all down, but they got him too. And he starts crawling down. He dies just on the stairwell, like halfway down. Damn. It was cool. But then it still just felt kind of empty. The whole second half of it was just him ranting and shit again, which the first half had been. And I just, one day it just hit me. I was like, he imprisons the dude. He doesn't kill him. We don't have to kill him. I can call Sam back in. We still have the set built. I've just been sitting on it for months. Like, this doesn't feel right.
Right.
So let's bring Sam in, see if he's game to just get fucking tortured. And basically Jack's going to indoctrinate this soft fucking cuck or whatever to his way of thinking, right? So he basically just straps him down, waterboards him, tortures him. You know all the shit, the game show he runs on him.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
And then though, it demanded that he play into the end game some way. So we ended up ending it the way we did. I still think that other ending's amazing, but there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the second half of the movie is way better with him in it, with that element of like this dude. You see somebody going through something grueling and physical, you know, and those words that were weapons become literalized. And he gets violent. That was the other thing. He never got violent,
right,
without that subject there to, you know, oppress.
Wow, man, that ending would kind of change it a little bit. Yeah, it would change like the feel.
You didn't know who came for him, which was cool. Right. You like that idea. It could have been,
which I do like.
He pissed off the black dudes. He pissed off, you know, everybody.
Yeah. Oh,
but
man. That's neat.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can put that on a deleted scene or some shit someday if we ever do some bigger release or something.
When Criterion picks you all up.
Exactly. Vinegar Syndrome when they pick us up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, man, it was a wild thing, but we made it without a script. That's the other crazy thing. We didn't structure this at all. Once we jettisoned the crew, we're like, fuck it. Let's just play this out. And then Gull and I, he'd come in, we'd sit down, and we're like, this is where we left off. We made it pretty much chronologically. And we're like, what headspace would he be in today when the guy shows up? Oh, maybe him and Mom are fighting when he shows up. Boom, he just into the lion's den, you know? So we just made it organically. Now, all the speech shit, his screeds and everything, I scripted all that. And all that came out of years of reading and researching. As we went along, the whole time I was studying white supremacist hate speech, etc., going down rabbit holes on the internet, reading this shit. Every single vile thing he says in the movie, somebody in the real world said. I took their words and I would paraphrase them in his voice and make it more like this Carnival Barker delivery of his and shit, because he's amped up and he's a showman. But every point he makes, real people are out there saying this shit. You know, it's not like I made it up or these are ideas I had that I wanted to channel through this character or something. It's like, nah, it's out there. And we even did an experiment before we were even done with production. As we were working on the shit, I think, with Sam, where he came back into the fold. And again, you're right. I mean, he let us shave his head. He let us shave him into a fucking Hitler mustache on a 2-day shoot. So he had to go home with a Hitler mustache for a night. I mean, he was a gamer. There was a couple of things I couldn't get him to do. If you want to hear some wild shit. But I kind of sidetracked myself there for a second. What the fuck was I saying? Damn it. Weed and whiskey.
Well,
I had a point.
You brought up the mother.
No, wait up. Let me finish this.
Go ahead.
So we were like, let's do some viral marketing shit before the movie's even done. Just start laying groundwork. So maybe when we release it, even if it's for free on fucking YouTube or whatever, there'll be some expectation for it.
Right. So
we made a Twitter account as Cactus Jack and started tweeting Jack type shit.
Oh, damn.
And dude, you know how it is when you're trying to promote your content, how no one gives a fuck and it's like pissing in the wind and you're like, come on, man, like, subscribe, whatever.
Right.
This hate shit fucking took off like wildfire.
Damn.
Like you don't have to market it. Hate markets itself, I guess, in America, because this shit thousands of likes, hundreds of retweets with this awful shit this Cactus Jack dude is saying, to the point where we had to put out like a fucking, basically a manifesto like Jerry Maguire, like, look, dudes, this was satire. You're fucking creeps. We can't in good conscience keep doing this because, you know, this is my man Kurt Vonnegut right here. There's that old Mother Night thing. Be careful what you pretend to be, because in the end you are what you pretend to be. So I'm like, what if I say some shit on this satirical viral marketing account that inspires some motherfucker to go do something? Nah, we shut it down, told everybody it was bullshit. But that was so telling. I was like, we're playing with fucking fire here.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, dude. It's out there.
That's
and some of them have seen Cactus Jack and given us 1-star reviews. Because they feel like we paint, but that's something people do. People are so egotistical, they watch a movie and think it's about them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, no, this is a character study about this one fucked up, hurt, broken dude whose mother played dead and fucked with his mind. His dad was a racist who killed himself right under his bedroom and shit. Like, he's fucked up. If you identify with this guy to the point where you think we're telling the story about you, you might want to get some shit checked out.
Exactly. Like that.
To immediately assume that we're stereotyping or mischaracterizing the hard right or whatever, even, it's like, no, I got a lot of empathy for people like that. I'm the one who goes around and gets in trouble on Facebook for telling my friends to not punch Nazis, which is very inconvenient when I make a fucking movie like Cactus Jack. I don't say it because I'm pro-Nazi. I say it because I realize these people are just broken people who are looking for a tribe, and they found it and they got seduced by the hate movement. You know, we've seen it 100 times. Yeah. You've seen it in other movies like American History X or whatever. You've seen it in millions of documentaries. And the way to deprogram people isn't by punching them. It's like that Derek Black dude who gets invited to dinner every Thursday night for months until he denounces the white supremacy movement he's like the heir apparent to, you know? Mm-hmm. So.
Damn. We see all those 1-star reviews. That means the movie hit way too close to home for these people.
The Daily Beast reviewed our movie when we first reviewed it or released it in a premiere, which was on our inauguration night, which was fucking hilarious. And right after the Capitol attack and shit, it was inconvenient. There were people scared. Like, our manager wanted his name off of it. Several other people were like, I don't know if I want my name on this shit. You know, we're going to have to push the release. We're like, fuck that. Just release it. Who cares? No one will even care about this movie. Who's going to watch our premiere? Like 800 people online? Whatever. Lo and behold, the Daily Beast film critic, Nick Shager's like, hey, can I watch your movie? So like, sure. And we send him a fucking link and he just excoriates it. He's like, this is a fucking one-note, you know, stupid alt-right mouthpiece kind of movie. I'm just like, dude, everyone was politicizing it. That's the thing. Guys like you, guys like JT, who just take it as a movie and a character study and a horror flick, and you're not looking at it through this partisan political lens, you can appreciate what the fuck we did, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's how can I describe it? It's really it's actually more horrifying than a horror movie.
Thank you.
If you know what I mean.
And that's what we set out to do. Yeah.
It really is. I mean, I've been telling just about everybody about this movie, and of course, most of them are like, I don't know if I want to watch that, but I'm like,
understandable.
You need. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but you need to give it a shot. But
it's a tough one to recommend. We're gonna have a hard time with word of mouth because you do put some social currency on the line when you recommend it to somebody, and they're just like, what the fuck? Why would you want me to go through that unpleasant thing, even if it's not political and it's not triggering? You're just like, you like to punish yourself. You're telling me I should go punish myself watching this? You know, it's a weird one. So we know it's a niche thing, but fuck it. That's why we made it for, you know, 25 grand. I think it was all told with post and PR guys who had unfortunately zero fucking impact. Our manager got these awesome PR guys, Hollywood guys. They couldn't get any traction anywhere. Not a single fucking mainstream critic would look at our movie.
Damn.
Film Threat gave us a 7 out of 10, which I got a buddy on our team. Actually, the guy who put the first money in, he's like, don't advertise that you got a 7 out of 10 from Film Threat. I'm like, dude, that's pretty good. For a movie made on your fucking phone in your basement, I'm happy with it. I'll brag about it. You'd expect most of those movies to get a 5 or something, you know?
Yeah, if that.
And for it just to be this provocative and shit, it's like, Of course, the guy's not going to give it a 10. A professional film critic, like it's There Will Be Blood and shit. But I don't know. I'm proud of that. So it took the sting out of like that Nick Shager Daily Beast review because again, Film Threat guy Alex, he didn't review it through any kind of political lens. You know,
Right.
he just took it as an indie horror movie, and an innovative horror movie.
There you go. Well, I was introduced to it from BayView Entertainment sent me a screener, and I believe if I remember right in the email, he was like, they were like, yeah, so I have this one. Let me know what you think. And I was like,
yeah.
Right.
I
mean, I
mean,
watched it and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
We have big fans and people I respect the opinion of a lot who are like, this will be a cult movie in like 20 years or something. If such a thing even exists by then, because movies aren't what they used to be. Just in the, you know what I mean? So much competition with even just YouTube, apps, games, whatever.
Yeah.
When we were kids, movies were it, right?
Oh, dude. Yeah, movies were like the end all be all.
Yeah. And now they're just another medium that a lot of people don't give a shit about and they think they're too long and, you know, they're not interesting, which I agree on a lot of them. But so I don't know if the, you know, film fans in general used to be mainstream thing. Ebert, Siskel and Ebert, now it's a niche thing. Guys like you know what I mean? When you get down into horror movies, let alone fucked up horror movies like this that trigger people, even more niche. So I don't expect us to ever have a big audience, but I kind of love the fact it is 7s and ups and 1s. You know what I mean? That's most of our reviews.
Well, you know, that's kind of good too, because the ones right in the middle, those are kind of the worst ones. So
yeah. And we get some of those that even really respect the movie. They're just like, I can't say it's, you know, again, like one of the best movies. You know, everyone's got their own scale. It's all subjective.
Oh yeah.
If you hold certain movies at a certain height, like nothing's going to reach it. So.
Oh yeah. In fact, I was having a conversation earlier with somebody about like really bad movies and like the really bad movies that like we love.
Yeah.
You know?
So bad they're good for sure. Yeah. It's a whole genre, dude.
And, oh yeah. Oh god, yeah. And but yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms. But yeah, I did want to talk about the mother character.
Yeah.
I found it extremely interesting that you never actually see her.
Yeah.
And she's, I don't, how can I describe it? She's not the voice of reason, but she's, I don't know. She's like weirdly sympathetic.
Yeah, I think
kind of.
I remember you saying something like that in your review. Go on though. I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, I don't know. I just found it fascinating that, and she's such a presence in this guy's life, and like everything she does like pisses him off and just like she's like you know, the bane of everything for him, and it's and she's there and you hear her but you never see her, and I thought that was a brilliant idea.
Thanks.
Yeah,
part of it was, again, you know, there's this I've said this in a lot of interviews and I probably almost fuck the quote up every time, but there's this book about conversations that Henry Jaglom, who's this indie filmmaker back in the day, a lot of people don't even know about. He had these conversations about filmmaking with Orson Welles. And in one of them, Orson Welles said, the enemy of art is the absence of limitations, right? And that's what's going on in movies now. They just throw money and CGI at shit.
Right.
When you have to be innovative because you don't have the money or whatever, you come up with these cool ways to do things like, let's just do the mom in voiceover. When we're filming, the two of us, I'll play the mom because we never fucking see her. Then we could bring some actress in to do voiceover. Boom, done. It's because you're making it on your phone for no money that you think of a cooler way to do it. If we saw her, it wouldn't be as good.
No.
It's Jaws. You don't see the monster. You know, it's so much better this way. And there's a crack through the door. Do you see her? No, maybe. Oh, he traces her with the fucking laser of his rifle. So she's moving around the space even. She's this kind of ethereal ghost character who's haunting him and shit, you know?
Yeah,
rattling the chains up there, flushing toilets. And there's so much resentment that he's built up towards her. And you find out why in some of the anecdotes, some of the shit she's done, and some of the stuff she says. He calls her a rattlesnake, and he's not wrong. But what I dig that you're doing here is you're doing what I try and always do, and my brother tries to always do, is look at all sides. Consider all sides. That's why I always get accused politically by friends of mine of straddling the fence or whatever. I'm like, that to me is the only sensible place to be. I'm supposed to be out on the fringes with you guys. Like, nah, I'm weighing what the fuck you're saying. I'm weighing what you're saying. Both of you sound stupid.
Yeah.
But
I completely agree with everything you just said. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man.
But that's the thing with the mom. It's like what you're doing is you're seeing her point of view as well. That's, man, to me, that's when you hit the nail on the head filmmaking wise. I want you to get all points of view. I want you to be able to hold two ideas in your head at the same time. And I presented both of them in a manner that allows you to do that. And you're like, wait, let me look at it from this woman's point of view. Her husband killed herself. He was this fucking alcoholic, racist dude, right? She's got this son now who whatever went on with them throughout the years. Yeah, she's made some mistakes, and her bitterness of when she did shit to him as a kid is still there. And she even was raised with racist parents of her own because that's just how it fucking works generationally. But she's got this son who won't do anything to help her. And all he does is sit in the basement jamming on his fucking bass and screaming at people on the radio and breaking shit. If you look at her from her point of view, he is a fucking loser in an albatross around her neck. So yeah, she resents him and he resents her because she's this fucking harpy just screaming at him from upstairs all the time and never appreciated him. And so it's really just this family drama just taken to this crazy extreme, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really about isolation too, the whole movie.
Oh.
The danger is when we isolate ourselves. She's up there isolated. He's isolated, you know? And
that's true.
The internet is this weird, creepy thing where it allows isolated people to interact with the world, but they're not interacting with the world as a person in the world. They're this disembodied, isolated thing interacting with the world within all the baggage that brings with it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let me send
poor bastard.
With the so when you were what was I gonna say? Here we go. So not only are you a filmmaker, but you're also an author, a podcaster. You do freaking everything, dude.
Yeah, we just try and do whatever's fun. I mean, it's funny you see dudes like Joe Rogan say that. I just do what's fun, and it takes him to like $100 million. Luckily, most of us aren't that lucky. We do what's fun, and we just plod along, you know. But if you do it for the money, what are you doing? You know, Gull and I have a podcast called Piss and Vinegar that we just started. We have 2 episodes. I'm going to release the second one in the next couple of days. Much funnier than I am here, by the way. That's right. Chris and I had a podcast called Hard Out, and we talked to a lot of writer and filmmaker friends of ours. And I'm like, man, I love all of you guys. And you're all cool, interesting people, but you're never that interesting when you're talking about your shit. You know what I mean? Just come hang out. Let's talk about anything but your movie. Yeah, so Gull and I did this Piss and Vinegar thing where it's more just a hangout, like old school Opie and Anthony, have some comedians come in and just fuck off, you know? Much more fun podcast. But
yeah, I listened to the first episode of Piss and Vinegar. Yeah, I was cracking up with you guys.
Thanks. The second one was really good. This dude Mario, he's fucking amazing. But we're trying to get, one of my dreams is to do a podcast from a comedy club green room where everybody's sitting back there before so this guy has to get up and go on stage. He's gone for fucking 8 minutes or whatever his set is, and he comes back, goddamn, you know, back into the middle of the conversation. How did it evolve while he was gone? How's the crowd doing? You know, just pick up that green room energy with a bunch of comics. Could be fun. Comics are my favorite people to talk to.
Yeah. Because
usually, my brother Chris and I were talking about this the other day. What usually interests me isn't somebody's thoughts or opinions. I'm usually interested in their thought process, if that makes sense. I'm interested in like how they come to these conclusions. And comedians always take interesting ways to come to conclusions. You know what I mean? It's just part of the job. So many people are just aping whatever talking points and shit they've heard. You know, you could just see there's no thought process even going on there. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I'm going to talk to comedians primarily. We do have a guy who we're booking right now named Arno Michaelis, I think you would pronounce his last name, who was one of the co-founders of the largest neo-Nazi group in America. Did some horrible shit back in the day, but had a daughter, saw the light, has spent the rest of his life working for peace, you know. Mm-hmm. Amazing guy. I read his book when I was researching Jack, so he's going to come on and talk about all this. So Not every episode is just going to be a bunch of comedians fucking off. We will talk to serious people about serious things, of course, but I just don't want to talk about making my movie. I sound like a blowhard. Hate that shit.
We do have a question from the chat for you, from the Cheetah.
What's up?
Are you a fan of Adam Green and Jill Lynch?
Dude, those are horror filmmakers. Yeah. Right. That tells you where I'm at these days. Between the cancer, the kid, the career of trying to make money, I get lucky if I watch fucking 10 movies a year these days. It's a travesty. I hate to say it, but I have massive holes in my movie watching game, and I have dreams. Chris and I both. Like, one of the best years of our life, I was working on this volcano in the South Atlantic Ocean, like tracking satellites and space junk for NASA, right? And I left that job and went to New Hampshire because my brother was up in Boston working a job. I took a job in New Hampshire, tore my knee up like 3 weeks into that job and went on disability. Chris got laid off at his job. So we had a year and a half almost of living in this apartment in Warwick, Rhode Island, where we did nothing but smoke bowls, drink beers, watch movies, write a couple scripts. That's kind of how we broke into Hollywood, writing scripts in this apartment. But it's crazy. We grew up going to the movies 8 times a week. You remember when you were a kid and you're like, I've seen everything on the fucking marquee. Yep. There's nothing to see. Let's see this one again, you know? To nowadays, I'm so lucky if I get to see a movie. It's sad. Like, I yearn for those days. I yearn. Chris and I both say our deathbed moment's going to be Warwick, Rhode Island. That's what I'm going to look back on. Just a year with neither of us having to work, him getting unemployment and me getting disability. So it's like, we got beer money. We got movie money. Fuck.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So no, I'm not fans of them, but I'm sure I would be if I watched their shit, to answer your question. And I'm adding them to the list.
Yeah, Adam Green, man, he did Frozen, the Hatchet movies,
okay.
all that crazy
Frozen's
shit.
The one where they're stuck in a ski lift?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And
who's the other one? Joe Lynch? What did he make?
The Hatchet movies with Kane Hodder.
Yeah, man. Does that sadden you? I was curious about that. Like, do you want like a true horror, bona fide horror fan to have made Cactus Jack? Or do you not give a fuck? Is it disappointing that I don't know who those filmmakers are?
I don't think so.
I'm just curious. I'm always curious. But I do want to watch them. I just got a list.
So were there any directors or anything that influenced Cactus?
Yeah, I mean, Oliver Stone, like I said, is a huge influence. That dude made fucking movies. Nobody makes movies like that anymore. You go watch even like The Doors. That is cinematic as fuck. JFK, Nixon. They make a movie about Nixon, super cinematic, just with the way he edits and the way there's mixed medium, and he'll go from 8mm to fucking VHS. You know, he's just mixing it up.
Mm-hmm.
U-turn. There's so much crazy shit he does. So we always liked auteur filmmakers too, usually, who wrote their own shit. Even the Woody Allens, Quentin Tarantino, of course. Michael Haneke's huge for us. Gaspar Noé, provocateurs who push buttons. Lars von Trier, big influence. I don't think he makes perfect movies, but I respect the shit out of what he's trying to do. Every time he goes big, you know. You say what you want about his personality. I don't really give a shit about the personality of a filmmaker.
Yeah, you kind of, to me, you almost have to separate the two because it's not, I don't know. It's totally different.
Do you care about the personality or the proclivities of the guy who made your toothpaste or whatever? It's like, no.
Right. Exactly.
People make shit. He happens to make movies.
Yeah.
Judge the movie on its own merits, you know?
Yeah.
So, not to equate art to toothpaste, of course, because I know somebody could take exception to that, but
that's right. Like Mr. Bones right here. He was
Bones.
What's going on, Bonesy? Yeah.
How many of these people have seen Cactus Jack? It's on Vudu now. You can see it for free with ads, which is amazing to me. Gull said he went back and watched it with ads, and he said it was fucking dope because, first off, the absurdity of whatever crazy shit he's saying when it stops.
Yeah, and then
there's that shit.
Face. Right.
Come back to this. You got to out right there now. It stopped for a minute. You can not come back to the movie much more easily than being swept in its current. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see how many people come back after their first commercial break and just what the reaction is to whatever he's saying when they come back in. I don't know where it cuts off. So is he like right in the middle of some shit?
Well, funny enough, about an hour before we started, I actually turned it on Vudu just to see.
With the ads?
Yeah, I ended up getting like 2 ads, and one was for like Keytruda or some drug thing.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and it was
one's for Liquid Wrench, and the other one's for Hollow Points.
That would be pretty funny. Although it did cut off like right kind of in the middle of one of his first speeches.
That's what I'm wondering. Is it cut off during the middle of it?
Bizarre. Yeah.
So they don't even look for like scene breaks or anything. They just slapped that shit in.
They just slapped it on. Yeah, they didn't give a shit.
Whatever, it's free. What are you gonna do? And like you said, the movies that are so bad they're good, to watch them with commercials, it adds a level of absurdity. But I wish you could curate the commercials. Like, can you throw in like some old Where's the Beef fucking 80s commercials? You know what I mean? Especially if you're watching some old grindy shit. Like, throw in some classic of the period commercials for me.
That would be pretty epic, actually.
Yeah, like that shit in Grindhouse, you know, the
the
machete or whatever trailer, all that shit. That's the best stuff.
Yeah, what do you think Jack would have thought about Machete?
Man,
he probably been like, hell yeah, and then oh wait, he's Mexican. Shit, yeah.
Yeah, who knows? This movie would have been awesome if it starred some fucking white guy. I don't know, man. Part of me wonders with Jack, and I still never nailed this down, because why should I? Even if I'm creating a character, why should I plumb the depths of them to the point where I know everything about, you know what I mean? Like, there's the conscious and there's the subconscious. So when I nail it down, do I got to work in both those levels or whatever? I wonder with Jack how much of a blowhard he is, how full of shit he is.
Right.
Does he love Wesley Snipes movies, but he'll never admit it because he's adopted this stance that he can't fucking admit he likes Wesley Snipes movies, you know?
Yeah.
People are fucking stupid like that. And he's obviously stupid like that.
They are. And I'm still like in awe of the Twitter thing that y'all created. That is wild.
It was creepy.
That's truly scary.
And then we felt like, is there a way we could spin this for marketing? Like, just tell them all to fuck off. He's gross. I mean, we said gross shit. Like, Jack says nasty shit. You seen the movie?
Yeah.
And for anyone to be down with any of it, it's pretty gross.
This is definitely a movie you will not see on network TV.
No, never. I'm surprised, honestly, that, props to BayView. Peter, if you ever see this, thank you. Because, man, Blood, Sweat, Honey is all right, so we couldn't get in any film fest, right? None of them want anything to do with our shit, except the Twisted Dreams Film Festival, a horror film festival, local, but they do some cool shit. We went in there, they took us in there, and they have impartial judges. They have a jury. They have no say in it or anything, so no favoritism, and we swept it, right?
That's cool.
Best actor, director, fucking film.
Nice.
So the only fest that took us was that. And I'm like, I don't know how much mileage we're going to get out of that, except Blood, Sweat, Honey, the sales agent saw that somewhere, some mention of that. And we're like, hey, can I check your movie out? And they fucking dug it. Blood, Sweat, Honey is this guy, Alex Noe, and Jeff Dowd is the other partner. Jeff Dowd is the guy that the Big Lebowski's based off of.
Oh, okay.
Jeff, the dude. He's like, the dude is like an indie film distributor, for those of you who don't know. The Coens knew him through that. But he's done a lot of, they got good taste, I think. So we were like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. These guys like our movie and they want to take it out. So they started taking it out to distributors. And dude, it was like 9 months before we got BayView. And we had some experiences that opened Blood, Sweat, Honey's eyes, even, where we had 2 times distributors were like, we want this movie. This is great. We're like, sweet. What are the terms? Whatever. And then the next day, never mind. We've changed our mind. We're not going to take this movie on. So I started, using my deductive reasoning, put on that detective hat. And I'm like, these motherfuckers are picking up movies based off trailers. They saw the trailer, thought it looked cool. We're like, we'll take it. Then they went to watch it.
And they go, oh, shit.
Or their wife or whatever. They're like, oh, shit. This is fucking radioactive. Never mind. So to all you filmmakers out there, just make something that looks good and has a good trailer. I bet you get picked up by some kind of distributor. And yeah, after a few of those and then just more strikes and everything, then BayView came around and we're like, dude, fuck yeah. Anyone who would take a flyer, and then they're sending it to dudes like you. I mean, shit. Yeah, if it weren't for Peter, we wouldn't even be talking. So yeah, props to BayView. I know people tell nightmare stories about distributors and, you know, we haven't had any accounting or anything yet. So I don't know, but so far, just the fact that they took a flyer on this movie, props. A lot of people are scared to have their name on it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. But we got a guest here.
What's up? We will have another.
Oh shit! What's up, dude?
I am getting mic on now, Michael.
Yeah, it's a party.
Yeah.
That's what we just saying. We're like the party's here. Let's go to the after party at Al's.
Yeah. That's right. Over here, baby. That's right.
Now I'm gonna get all melancholy and wistful for my youth of like, where do we go after bar close and shit? God, I miss those days.
Sure.
Fucking old and boring. I don't even watch movies anymore.
That's all I do anymore, really.
Jealous, dude.
I watch too many.
Yeah. I'm too busy trying to make shit to watch
it. I started my I started my horror channel like 5 months ago, a little over. I've covered like 230 films or something like that. Like a lot of it's a lot in like 5 months.
Well, my brother Chris and I started that podcast Hard Out. The whole device of Hard Out is pretty dope. At the 60-minute mark, it's just like
yeah, I'm getting you in. I'm sending you on Instagram the link.
Even if you're mid-sentence, the guest is mid-sentence or whatever. And we had like Oscar winners and shit on our podcast, right? People we knew through people,
in your
etc.
Instagram message.
And, just getting cut off mid-sentence. But we did that podcast mostly to make us watch movies again.
Yeah. Did it work?
Yeah. And while we were doing it, watched way more movies, and it was fucking awesome. Because that way, you know, sorry, honey, I got to watch this fucking movie for work. Right? When you get a channel, you start building it out, you get to use that excuse.
There we go.
I can't be a dad today. I got to watch fucking Slaughterhouse 7.
Mike, check your Instagram.
Gull having technical difficulties?
Little bits.
Yes, our star is having some technical difficulties.
No, it's just from us switching from the one stream to the other. I thought maybe with the link there was some way we can like both join at the same time, but I clicked it and it just brought me in. So I had to get it again and give it to him.
He needs to just click Al's link. I think jump out of yours and click Al's.
I sent it to him on Insta, I think. Let's see.
Yeah, no, I sent him the link that Al sent me on Insta. So he should be seeing it any second.
What the hell was that dude saying?
He was saying, Cheetah mentioned he scored DC Super Pets. So,
nice.
So Bones saw bodies in the newest store for like $25.
How is that bodies? Is that good?
That's a new one I haven't seen from this year.
All right.
Yeah.
X and Pearl, the best films of the year horror wise for me.
I saw X, and I was doing another podcast called Buzzkill with this writer dude I know named Ryan Jackson, and for some reason that shit just went south and stopped being a podcast. It was very weird. But X was one of the ones we did. But man, I found in that podcast that coming at shit super critically was more of the vibe, and I was like, that's not how I want to watch movies. Like I inherently do that as a writer. Like I would have done this, I would have done that, but
yeah, that's how I am as a musician. We were talking, me and Mike, just the
right. But I'm trying.
It's
trying
never
real hard,
Ringo. Never good enough. For sure, right. Yeah. That is a hard thing, like for sure, with me doing this channel, and because it's me looking at movies through a much more, like you said, analytical eye for the first time. Like I take notes while I watch it.
Just take them at face value and trying to have fun and enjoy it.
Yeah,
treat it like you want to.
Most of the movies I do watch are the ones you can have fun with. And like just rip on and like terrible bad movies, but you still love them and stuff like that. But every now and then you get like those films like The Thing was my favorite film of all time. John Carpenter's Halloween, Suspiria, stuff, perfect movies like that. That is just, you got to give it its praise, but for sure. But man, what a fucking phenomenal job you guys did with the movie.
Thanks, brother.
Seriously, like I was blown away by it.
Like, so let's also welcome our Michael Gull, the star of Cactus Jack.
Yes, welcome to the star.
How's it going? Welcome back.
Love you, man.
Good to see you, Al.
How's it going?
Good. How are you, man?
All right,
Dude.
you've been talking to this guy down there.
That guy.
I know there's a lot of there's
that-
overlap, I think, or there's a delay with some of our dialogue here. So dialogue, I call it, fucking filmmakers. Some of our
This is
audio
real
here.
life, Jason.
There's no such thing,
Not
dude.
dialogue.
I don't have REM sleep at all. My whole life is a fucking dream at this point.
I don't sleep hardly ever.
Yeah, same. I just float through the world. It's that Fight Club insomnia shit. Once you hit that level, it's like the world's not real. So
yeah, I've been that way since middle school. I don't sleep much. I'm a night person, so I stay up till 4, 5, 6 in the morning and then sleep for a few hours. That's it.
Takes a toll.
Yeah, oh, it definitely does.
It fucking hurts, dude. Trying
Not
to keep
healthy.
up.
It's not healthy at all, I feel. But
So what was? Go ahead.
I was gonna just say the score, man. How did you guys?
Sick.
The score is fucking amazing in the movie.
Dude, the three amigos, man. Freddie Noriega, Antonio Trinquilano, and Diego Young. These three Mexican dudes that our manager, Sydney, happened to know. Sydney, too. Props to Sydney, our manager. He's been, Chris and Ryan, he's been our manager since we broke in Hollywood, probably 2009. We've been with the same guy. We've been at like 2 major agencies.
Yeah.
Left them. Sydney's still with us. Because he's fucking, dude, his dad was a Holocaust survivor. And he's willing to put his name as a producer on Cactus Jack. Like, he's down with the ride or die type shit.
He is not afraid of a motherfucking thing.
Sydney don't give a fuck.
Sure.
I love him.
That's great. Great to have that quality like that. And
he knew these 3 guys though down in Mexico, and they're fucking so talented and so gifted. And you find that's one good thing about the internet, but it helps to have someone like our manager who can curate for you. And they're like, I know the fucking guys, they're like, he's like Red in Shawshank. Like, I'm the guy who can get it for you. Oh, you need a sound guy? I'm gonna get you a sound guy. I know this guy.
Top 5 movies.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. We were talking about that earlier too. Stephen King's non-supernatural shit is his best.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
You guys seen At Pupil?
Parts in Atlantis, At Pupil. Well, everything that he did non-horror is still amazing. Like,
yeah, it's his best shit.
I love 11/22/63. Has anyone else seen?
Yeah, with JFK's loop over and over again. The book was great too. I read the book for that.
Yeah. Misery, Dolores Claiborne. Nothing supernatural. They're fucking great. Stand by me.
I'm staring right now. I got 3 shelves. It's all Stephen King.
Yeah, that's what we were raised on. My mom was like Dean R. Koontz, Stephen King, all that shit.
Dean Koontz, hell yeah.
Someone named June just said something really nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh.
Nice.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
And I definitely could agree.
Dude, I don't care if no one ever likes the movie again. Just the fact that you fellas like it. I don't give a shit. Like, you ever see that Tenacious D shit? Lee, was that the Tenacious D bit? Lee. You guys are Lees or anything like? But by the end of it, Lee's like the normal one, right?
Yeah.
The fucking weirdos, and he's like, "Ew, I don't want to be your fan anymore." But just have anybody who's like appreciates your shit is always awesome. Gull, same way, goes back as a musician, a comedian. It's like, if you
I had so much fun talking with him because I'm a musician too, and I love stand-up comedy. So it was so great to talk about all these different things, especially his performance. Because man, his performance is fucking amazing in this. And you guys is directing, the writing of the lines, just the use of the score, like I was saying, just not overusing it, just using it at the right time, the right spots, the right shots and scenes and stuff. And making it go higher at the right in volume, and then just everything about.
Dude, Diego, the sound mixer, no one gives those guys credits. Those are the Oscars. They get like 10 seconds to thank
I
their
mentioned
fucking
sound
wife
design
and shit.
in all my videos. I'm a musician. I guess that's why I pay attention to the sound design. Unbelievable, though.
Well, dude, I'm not gonna lie. By the end of the movie, wearing all these hats and filming everything myself, there were times where I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm just using in-camera audio," meaning the phone capturing the sound. Which everyone, big no-no in fucking indie filmmaking. And we had Zoom recorders and shit. I was just like, man, not today. Think about it. If we're going really, really, really grounded and realistic, and we want to go cinema verite, where this shit feels like it might have really happened, let's just use the fucking phone audio and let it be kind of shitty.
The fact that I shot it there is amazing on a phone.
Diego's so good that he made that shit sound fucking great. It all sounds really fucking good to me.
Yeah. Unbelievable. All the work of everybody on this movie was just like everything at the right place in the right moment. Honestly, like it really was. Like when I first saw this movie, because Al saw it before me, Then Michael was kind enough to contact me on Instagram and send me a link to watch it. And so I didn't get any spoilers from Al, but Al was telling me it's a crazy movie and stuff like that. And so I was looking forward to watch it. I watched it and I was just blown away. Like as soon as I finished it, I just hopped on and made the review for it. And just like I was talking with Michael about this, that like I feel like a lot of people, not a lot, but maybe a decent amount of people, are just going to completely misread this movie. And just because to me, it's just a character study. It's a deep dive character study into one person. It's a Cactus Jack. It's not that this is fucking a representation of a group of people or extreme right or extreme left. I didn't think of politics at all watching this movie. But we were discussing too just how there's a tiny, like, awesome bit of horror throughout this that you get in a trance almost listening to his rants. And they start to not sound so crazy, and then you're kind of drifting that way, and then you're like, "What the fuck am I doing?" Like,
yes.
Like, and it makes you. That's some horrific shit right there. Like,
it's like a gut check. Like, am I enjoying this fucking rape scene in Straw Dogs or some shit? Right? Like, what is happening here?
Yeah, like Irreversible, Gaspar Noé.
Right.
The Belushi scene. That's crazy.
Gull and I have talked a lot about that when we've done our little mini media tour here with guys like you. Is that there's a kernel of truth to some of the shit he says, and that's how misinformation works. Yeah. There's a kernel of truth, and you're like, all right, yeah, I see what they're saying. So you open your ears and you start listening. But Jack, his mind hijacked by hate, like some fucking fungi in The Last of Us or some shit, always veers so fucking far with it that he loses you if you're a normal person. Some viewers he may not lose, and that's a litmus test. I'm not a normal
person, so that's maybe why he didn't lose me.
Well, it depends. Like I was talking to my mother-in-law about this because she'll never watch it.
Yeah.
And my wife will never watch it. I don't fucking blame them. It's just not their idea of a good time.
I know many people I would not recommend to show this movie.
Right.
It's not for everyone, but
But some of it, like
a lot of great movies are like that.
Right. Take that scene where he's talking to the female radio host and he just goes in this misogynist rant.
Yeah.
There's a lot of valid shit in there. About how men are just made the buffoon nowadays in advertising. They're the big dumb lug husband and shit like that. You know what I mean? So not everything he says is invalid.
It's completely correct. And that's the moments that you start to like creep towards like the trance of his rants and stuff. And then you catch yourself and you're like, oh no, he's crazy. Like I can't fucking agree with anything. But it's so tense.
Fucking kill yourselves.
Yeah, like it's so perfectly done.
Dude, Gull is such a fucking maniac. The fact that he was willing to put his trust in us and just say this crazy shit and show up is fucking amazing to me.
I asked him how hard it must have been to get into that mind state and then get out of that mind state. Like leaving for the
day. I can't even imagine. That still boggles my mind.
Yeah, like and you said that you carry a little bit with you and stuff, but that goes away, right? It's like a hangover. That'll go away by the afternoon.
Yeah. I mean, I still hate Jewish people, but
exactly. But that's from Cactus Jack. That's been there. Let's not lie.
He just said that so we can get on the Lex Friedman podcast and Piers Morgan and talk about our movie. That's what you do nowadays, right? You insult the Jewish people and you get on some major talk show stuff, right?
I guess. I mean, Michael will be able to tell us soon. We'll find out. Who's in there? Oh,
so June. What? So what was the impetus to do it in black and white?
Yeah. Oh, that's a question I didn't think of to ask.
Yeah, man. First off, I just fucking love black and white. I'll say flat out.
Me too. Absolutely.
It's great. Even when I shoot just photography, it's black and white is about light and shadow, purely. And there's just something dramatic and cool about that. Then you start thinking about the layers of it. Thematically, it works. He thinks very black and white. There's no nuance, you know. Secondly, I knew I wanted the movie to switch gears and just become this crazy chaos fest once he got a hold of the cameras. Yeah. So, hearkening back, of course, to Wizard of Oz is kind of what we're doing here. It's like you hit that moment in the movie where it goes from this quaint black and white to just saturated color and fucking Technicolor madness, you know?
Really? I can't say enough about the movie. I honestly can't. And, like... It's such a unique film. Like, there's no, that's Michael we're talking about. There's no film that feels like this that I've seen. And I've seen thousands of horror movies and stuff in my life. It's just has such a different feel to it. that I can't really describe it to other people. That's why I asked when you were in the chat, like, would you consider it found footage? And I would too. But it's
we're very careful to not
just
violate the rules of found footage.
Yeah, it's not just like a regular found footage film. This film has such a deepness to it and just like a uniqueness to it that it's I've never seen something like it, honestly. And
it's a found footage movie made by filmmakers too. That's part of the conceit. It's a documentarian who's trying to be a little arty at times, you know, so he got some coverage. It's cool like that. And then once Jack gets hold of the cameras, he thinks he's some kind of fucking, speaking of Kanye, he thinks he's some artistic
genius.
He'll
convince you that he is that great.
Exactly.
What a great. Where did you come up with the idea for the character? Like, was it hard to come up with, not write the lines for, but just like mold the character in your mind before?
To be honest,
even having Michael involved, was he written before that, or was it written?
No,
just for
but this all came organically. It's something we kind of built together. But Chris and I, as I was telling Al, my brother Chris and I had spent like a fucking 8 years or something kind of on the Hollywood screenwriter fucking hamster wheel.
Yeah.
In development hell, lots of projects that, you know, we got hired on assignments and this and that and sold some pitches and shit. Never got a movie made. But so much of it is because we write raw, dope shit and they can't handle it. I hate to say it, Hollywood.
It's
fucking
true.
I hate to say it. So
100%.
there's so much, especially increasingly as we got into the later years of the Obama term, something got weird with political correctness again. The like you used to see from the religious right in the Bill Maher politically incorrect days. It used to be the religious right censoring everything, where the left started censoring everything, and it just got really weird. So Hollywood started getting real kid's glove with bad guys, and we're like, the juice is the bad guy. Spider-Man to me was the greatest comic because there's 100 fucking dope villains. He has so many good villains. Batman has like 3 good villains. Superman. What the fuck is Superman got for villains?
I never got it. I'm not big into superheroes, but Superman especially, I never got into.
Nah, there's nothing going on there. It's like they just stopped at surface level thinking and shit. But Spider-Man, each of these villains has its own kind of rich backstory and origin and everything, and they knew that was the secret. The villain defines the hero. So my brother and I always wrote that way. And we're getting to a point, though, one of the big turns for us was that X-Men Apocalypse movie. We're taking meetings in Hollywood. We're driving around, and there was the big billboard of fucking Oscar Isaac's Magneto choking Jennifer Lawrence. And then there's this huge Twitter fucking explosion about it where it's normalizing violence against women and all this shit. And I'm like, look, man, we're totally down with the cause, but it's overreach. He's a fucking evil, maniacal villain.
Yeah, exactly.
That's who chokes women. It's not endorsing it. We got to this point.
That's how I saw the movie, and like that's why I said I could see people taking it the wrong way, because that's how society has been for the last. Like,
but you ask like how we conceived of this character. Some of it was just like a reaction to running into that so much, where you're like,
that makes sense.
Make a good villain within the system. So once we started to make a movie about a villainous subject outside the system, we're like, we got to go as far as you can go with it. Really, you're obligated.
And it's great that you took the risks. Like,
and you did. You went
so far. Dude, good luck finding a fucking actor who's willing to say that shit.
That's good. I was thinking.
Secondly, willing to say it and be good and convincing and hook you.
Damn, that he was able to he killed his role, man. You're gonna keep hearing it. So.
I was telling Al we had this.
Sorry, Mike.
I was telling Al we had this PR firm that our manager brought in the post stage, even after we got BayView, as we're coming up on our release. He's like, I know these PR guys, they're fucking awesome, and they are, but they got stonewalled. No one would fucking look at the movie, and they're like, it's award season, and I only look stuff that comes through fucking official channels and whatever. Whole system's rigged. But the point being that those PR guys, what the fuck was I saying? God damn it. I had to sidetracking myself.
It was something about me being awesome.
Yeah.
Independent.
They
They submitted him somehow for the Independent Spirit Awards. That's what I was getting at. So I'm sure not enough people will see it for him to get nominated or whatever. But the fact that
that's the one you were telling me about, Michael, right? At the festival?
No,
that was a Twisted Dreams, probably.
Twisted Dreams,
yeah. So the Independent Spirit Awards are like the fucking Independent Spirit Awards, you know?
Yeah, it was big.
Yeah, that's like the independent Oscar essentially. So they submitted him for consideration, but we'll see. I'm sure not enough people are going to watch it. That's the problem.
That's not going to be a thing.
Nah, it's the type of people who do the voting in that thing will be aghast at this performance. So
if they're talking about Art the Clown for an Oscar,
I've heard that. Yeah, that's amazing.
This man right here needs to be nominated for an Oscar.
I mean, who's saying that? Who's they making this?
Yeah, Art's great, but that motherfucker can't talk. Like, boom, that's it. He wins.
Crushed it, dude. I honestly think
he did.
Cactus Jack is the most vile film character ever.
I've got to rack my brain, but I wouldn't argue.
Yeah, he's not gross out or anything, but he's like, it's like Nick the Nazi, that dude in Falling Down that Michael Douglas runs into. It's like being stuck in his basement for a fucking hour and a half.
Oh yeah, and you're trapped.
You know what I mean?
I said in that my review, you're trapped like Chris is, and you have to listen to what he has to say, whether you like it or not.
Right.
And that's horrifying too. That you can't get out of there. You're forced to be there for the ride, like through his thoughts and through this crazy fucker's like sick thoughts and mind. Shit, like it's so effective. It's so effective. It really is. You did some shorts also before leading up?
Yeah, I talked about some of that with Al. If you guys watch it back, but
I was just wondering are they available anywhere to watch?
I don't know if we still have them up. I could turn them on a YouTube channel, but
you should.
Yeah.
Even if you make it like
maybe I'll just tweet out
and send the link to us.
I think our Vimeo might have it. I could turn it on Vimeo and tweet it or something. Maybe.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'll review all of them. I'll talk about all of them. I mean, this movie blew away so much with everybody's work in it that I can't see the shorts or any of the
short film is just me and my brother in a camera.
But I still can't see him being fucking bad or anything. Like, it's just with the talent you guys have and the talent you guys brought into this movie, I can't see anything
Appreciate
else.
It, man. That was the thing. A lot of writers get stuck on that wheel and you just never see anything from them because shit doesn't get made. There are dudes I know who have carved out really good fucking careers and have made a lot of money. Yeah. Probably millions as screenwriters, and they have zero produced credits. It's just so many movies die in development, and then the fucking mood shifts, or somebody makes something in parallel development, and they die off like flies, you know.
Oh yeah, Hollywood's so fickle.
Yeah, and they spend too much money, so they're risk averse as shit. If you're spending hundreds of $1 million, I'd be risk averse too. That's the biggest
thing. Let's spend more money than we have to spend.
Yeah, if you spend nothing, you can afford to risk everything.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
The fuck you got to lose.
You brought up the political correctness stuff because, like, a month into my channel, because I have a very dark sense of humor and I crack dark jokes and observations and shit. I don't give a fuck. Like, if you don't like it, it's not the channel for you. Get off. And I made a video just to preemptively get ahead of shit because, like Al, you know, that once our channels get bigger and shit, that shit's always gonna come. Like so many friends that I have that have bigger channels, they've all dealt with fucking death threats, fucking like, oh, you're a racist, you're this, you're that. I made a half-hour video about political correctness, how I don't believe in that shit, and this ain't the channel for you if you're going to be all nitpicky on that. Like, there's a character I don't know the name. He's an Asian dude. That's the Asian character. That's the Asian guy. There's no political correct term or anything I'm going crazy over. It's like,
dude, I was watching a clip. I'm a UFC dude. I remember seeing way back in the day, in the early days of the UFC, Joe Rogan was calling a fight with Mike Goldberg, and Goldberg's like,
coming up now.
Fucking one of the guys, I can't remember who it was, Thiago Alves is in the black shorts or whatever. The other guy, you know, and Joe Rogan was like, or you could say white guy, black guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone just got quiet, and Goldberg's like, "Oh, Joe Rogan said that, not me,or whatever." And this was like 2009 or some shit, probably.
Yeah, this was before Rogan, like, really.
It's just hilarious. It's like, yeah, why can't we do that? Yeah, see the black guy over there, him and the white guy. Who gives a fuck?
Like, if I know the names in the movie that I'm covering and stuff, then I say the names. If it's like a slasher film that the characters aren't memorable and stuff, I'm not remembering their fucking names.
Like when people say I'm colorblind. You mean ethically, I'm colorblind. I treat everyone the same. But now the fact that I can't fucking recognize we have different melanin and it's a way to describe. So the fat guy. See the fat guy and the skinny guy? Yeah, that's me and Gull. Fat guy and the skinny guy.
It's just a description. Like it's not like you're speaking people. Like, and that's what I think the majority of over these years of this surge in political correctness, and everyone is so fucking sensitive about everything.
Hall monitors everywhere.
They got to bitch just to bitch. People that's their hobby today. Is this person said like this tiny little thing that could be considered something, I'm gonna fucking bitch like all night long. Like that's just what they love to do, and it's so annoying and it's so sickening, and I won't have it. Like I won't deal with it. Like,
I mean, again, as a writer who can look at even a Cactus Jack and see how a guy like that would come to be who he is and hurt people, and that kind of shit we talk about.
Oh yeah,
I can see that too, where just most people have so little power in their own fucking lives. We're all slaves to the clock. We got to wake up. We got to fucking take our kids to this shit and do that, or answer to a boss, or pay your bills on time, all this shit. That people get a chance online with anonymity to exact any kind of power. They're externalizing their own internal angst and just lashing out on people. So I'm sympathetic to all that. I think we just need to go back to the sticks and stones kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Stop getting so hurt by everything. Just say, most people are hurt and they're externalizing their pain.
Yeah.
Fucking ignore it. As long as they're not grievously hurting you. If somebody's like threatening your life, your livelihood, whatever.
If you know that line, then you're good. Don't cross the line. That's it. Like, don't be screaming, racial slurs at people and stuff, like with hate intent and stuff like that.
And if something's systematic, like daily, like if you're systematically bullying somebody,
of course,
But if you say something mean to somebody one day, can't it just be like you're having a bad day?
One time, like fuck up, a bad fuck up, maybe, but still a one-time fuck up. It's like 2 more strikes and
chill out. A bunch of middle-aged white dudes telling everyone to chill out.
That whole video, I mean, was basically like 10 reasons telling people just don't watch this channel at all, like for any reason. I felt like I had to do it though because I felt all that coming.
Yeah, it sucks you have to equivocate that much. We waste so much time backtracking, saying, "Now look, of course,
that's
rape
why
is bad, but whatever." Point you have to make. That's actually a good point,
Well, like the movie, you have 2 warnings before the movie even freaking starts.
Actually, I thought about cutting the second one. We did have somebody give an early review. Like, these fucking pussies don't even believe in their own work enough to not put 2 fucking. It's like,
get the fuck out of here.
Now, we kind of did that because we know you motherfuckers are crazy and rabid and just like crocodiles out there in the water, just waiting to see some shit that you can pounce on. But the other one is that first one is from Birth of a Nation, D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation. I'm like, that's just too cool. In a cinephile kind of way that I got to use that shit. That's the great first KKK movie, but he's a master filmmaker who kind of created cinema. But you can't hold those 2 things in your head. But I was like, it's interesting that everyone's trying to cancel D.W. Griffith's 110-year-old movie or whatever. We went to play it for this movie. There was going to be a scene where he's indoctrinating the documentarian. He's making him watch it. And what do you know? Birth of a Nation opens with a disclaimer saying that I'm showing this nasty shit, but don't hold it against me. I take the same liberty God and Shakespeare take to show fucking nasty shit because it's real. So we're canceling a dude who even had a disclaimer? And let me make it abundantly clear to those of you who don't think we're just giving a nod to D.W. Griffith and being a racist movie who's trying to emulate your so-called racist movie because you're too fucking dumb to really know what you're talking about. Or too triggered.
Don't matter.
Yeah, so we put the extra
brush them off.
Extra disclaimer in there just to say, we, not just D.W. Griffith, but we support this dude. But
just so many.
I do sometimes think it'd be better just to go in without any disclaimers. Like, fuck all of you.
That would be so fucking badass.
If I did a director's cut, I think it'd drop the disclaimers. Fuck you. Be a grown up. Engage with a movie and a piece of art like a fucking grown-up does. Where you can think about it and have a conversation about it afterwards. These people who have to turn it off and go straight to social media to rage about it, it's like you're throwing tantrums.
Yeah, it's like babies. And that's why no one likes listening to a baby crying and shit. So I just tune that shit out. And that's what you got to do, like always. It seems like the overwhelming majority, like at this point. It's not, but it feels that way.
Yeah, it's a vocal minority thing, but and
they're the vocal majority,
Hey, go scream it from the rooftops and shit that I went and I watched this movie and it's fucking horrible and I hate it and I had to turn it off after 10 minutes and no one should watch it.
They're hating on something, screaming it from the rooftops.
Well, the thing is when they try and make it disappear, when they try and say no one should see this movie, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're gonna anyone has the power to stop everyone from watching a movie. It's fucking insane. Like that whole thought process makes no sense to me. That's why I won't deal with political correctness. Like if someone, and I've never had to so far, because mostly horror fans and stuff. If you're dealing with horror fans, we're watching people getting mutilated and chopped up and killed and stuff. So like if you mention this girl has amazing tits and stuff, people aren't. It's a fucking horror channel. Like of course I'm some great tits in a slasher movie. That offends you in a horror channel? What the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah,
like
just looking to snipe. They're out hunting, grievance hunting.
Yeah, why are you even here? Like, then just like if dark jokes are gonna offend you and shit, like you're a horror fan. Like I've known people that like love a Serbian film and shit, like all those crazy movies, but then they'll be sensitive to like the stupidest shit. I'd be like, dude, you love like one of the craziest fucking fucked up movies ever.
Literally all of my favorite movies, well, not all of them, but some of my favorite movies are the most quote unquote problematic movies of all fucking time. Nice.
I like a lot of unpopular movies also.
Even just shit like, have you seen Pumpkin?
Just
anybody know Pumpkin?
Not Pumpkinhead. No,
it's not a horror movie. See, a lot of my favorite movies aren't horror movies either.
Oh, the Christina Ricci?
Yes. Have you seen that movie?
I've heard about it. I haven't seen it though.
This vapid sorority girl whose sorority ends up volunteering to help the Special Olympics, and she like falls in love with this fucking special dude in it.
Yeah.
And it just goes so hard, and it's so 90s with it, or early 2000s, I think. But it just knows how that you got to say bad shit to do satire sometimes. Satire is a dope fucking medium. Super viable. Super meaningful.
Yeah, Airplane. Favorite movie.
Satire. You can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't go soft with it. So there's scenes where she's like, I think I'm in love with one of the guys, to a professor. And he's like, what's the problem with that? He's retarded. He's like, how retarded?
Now you can't even say
that. Retarded. Like, just the movie doubles down on stupid shit like this. And it's just absurd.
You can't even say that word anymore.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. My wife, dude, I've volunteered with the Special Olympics because my wife is a deaf and hard of hearing teacher, and we work with special needs kids and shit all the time.
Yeah, which just is a testament to your character.
She hates the word.
She thinking you're evil people for making a movie like this.
I'm not allowed to use that word just because I don't want to get static from my wife or whatever. But I understand that the fucking makers of this film aren't anti-special needs people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's
just fucking passionate filmmakers, man. Like, that's people don't see that. Like most people can't see that.
Unless they are, that'd be fucking hilarious. How would you guys feel if Gull came on here and we were just super racist? What would you say?
At least you guys aren't fucking Mexican.
Yeah, right. There you go. Dude, that's the type of jokes I make all the time. I made fucking with Friday the 13th Jason rape jokes.
Oh, dude, I've made so many dead baby rape jokes for sure.
Killer kids, like they get knocked the fuck out. Like I'm not dying. The whole gamut. So I'm
humor,
I haven't got a bad comment yet saying like, dude, that was a little too far. I was like,
well, it's just so funny that you have to go on a stage and kind of claim it. Like Jeselnik would say it.
Jeselnik's one of my
favorites. He goes on the stage and says, "Why are you not allowed to say shit like Jeselnik?"
Yeah.
In just the regular. Gull, do you have anything on this? Being a comedian, is there some rule where non-comedians couldn't say certain shit?
No, and here's the thing, I'm fully okay with not being able to say retard or retarded,
right?
But we need to be able to go back to saying waterhead and mongoloid.
Mongoloid was the term. Back in the day.
If I can't say retard, I got to be able to say mongoloid.
You got to give me something.
You can't take everything away from it.
Stanhope does a whole bit on that of saying that it started as this and stuff. Then he's like, no matter how scientific and hard and Latin based you make the term and stuff, we're just going to use that to call our friends when they're stupid and they trip over the sidewalk. It's like you just showed signs of a developmentally challenged with someone missing the chromosome 22, like some shit like that. It's so funny, man. He's so brilliant. It's my favorite living comic.
And who's going to be offended by the word?
Yeah.
It's not like they know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always somebody on behalf of somebody else getting mad. It's always white chicks getting mad. Shut up.
Like it's no non-retarded white woman who's pissed off that I'm saying retard. Fuck off. You know, Corky from Life Goes On comes up to me and says, "I'll kick your ass." Then I'll stop saying it.
Until then, yeah.
Until then, fuck off.
Yeah.
He's a comedian. He can say these things.
Oh, man, that's what I'm going to ask you too. Is if you have your stand-up anywhere. I listened to that shit like right after this.
I haven't filmed any of my stand-up in years. There's
Yeah.
stuff that I have up on YouTube that's old.
No, but there is stuff on YouTube though I can find.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It's like
I'll definitely be checking.
we got to do some higher production value shit.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just old, like just shot on an old shitty phone or something. You know?
But it looks fucking fantastic. This movie look on a phone looks fantastic.
Doesn't it?
It's
Yeah.
astonishing.
I didn't know it until Al, you told me afterwards after I watched it.
A lot of people said that, man.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. I was like, "Are you serious?" Like,
I'm just proud that we
went-
pulled off. The modern phones are dope as shit. These iPhone 13 I have now, I mean, it's like, come on. But yeah, the fact that we shot it on those phones back in the day, I'm pretty proud of it. And again, so much of it's just good framing, good pacing and editing, you know.
If you know what you're doing and stuff, which you guys obviously do, but like people know what they're doing, you can pull off anything if you know how to do it right.
Well, it's like I love bokeh and I love, you know, a depth of field, shallow depth of field and shit. But does every movie have to have them? Can't you just go low down, quick and dirty and make a movie that has a widening
whatever feels
lens,
right
you know?
and feels right to your vision.
Right for the movie. Yeah.
You just want people who have stories to tell to go out and tell them and not fucking think that they got to go through these 50 gates to tell a movie and it has to cost millions of dollars and shit. It's like, just make it low grade and we'll forgive the fact that, like, I always joke that I was like, if we can get like used Hyundai money, like just the money it'll take to buy like a used Hyundai, we can make a fucking movie. You know?
It's
And
funny
you did it.
You brought that up. Yeah, exactly. And I did a interview with this first-time director, amateur director. His first film is a directorial debut. It's a found footage movie called Chest. It's coming out. Hopefully, he submitted it to Tubi, and so he said it could take 2 weeks. It could take 2 months. It depends on the circumstance. And he wants to release it on Blu-ray also. Both hopefully by the 1st of January, the latest. And he gave me a screener code to watch it months ago and stuff. And I really, really enjoyed it. But it's very low budget. But you would forgive certain things, you know, like when you know it's low budget, and the way that he wrote to the budget was excellent.
Well, and even those movies, like we were talking about earlier, the shitty movies that are so bad they're good, and you know, trauma movies that even purposefully make mistakes because that's part of the aesthetic. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's like entertain. That's the cardinal rule: is entertain.
There's a charm to them, and like that's why I love movies from the '80s. I feel like they had such a unique charm, especially like '80s slashers and stuff. That's why I don't care for slashers much past the '90s and shit. I hate Scream. Not hate it, but I don't like the Scream series at all, which is a hugely unpopular opinion.
They're just a little neutered.
Yeah, that's exactly how I describe them. They're neutered slashers. They're not real slasher movies.
Yeah.
But what I look for in a slasher is great practical effects and kills, some nudity if not bad, and a cool killer, a good performance. Like it's not hard to like please slasher fans. But Scream started that whole floodgates with I Know What You Did Last Summer and Urban Legend and Halloween H2O when the stuff was in.
Well, just budgets and movie
like
stars.
Dawson Creek. Yeah, Dawson Creek watered down slasher movies, and I can't stand them. I really can't. Like '80s is where it's at. Even though
part of it, the whole movie star thing is any movie you see brings all their baggage with it. So when you open Scream with Drew Barrymore, then it's like.
That's a great scene.
What am I watching? It's a great scene, but it's not some real feel. It doesn't. It makes you're watching a movie. It's like Bertolt Brecht, alienation effect. It's reminding you you're watching a movie because it has a movie star.
You don't like get sucked into it,
right?
And forget that you're watching a movie.
But something like Gull, what he's doing, you don't know this fucking guy. You're like, who the fuck is this dude?
Yeah,
and hopefully someday people will. But
and I saw.
He did kill Patrick Swayze, by the way.
Short minutes out of your review of your interview with him before I saw the movie, like 2 minutes or so, and so I saw how he is in real life and how he's the sweetest guy ever, nicest person ever. Right. So when I put the movie on and shit, I was like,
unless you're a small animal.
I was like, Jesus Christ, this performance is unreal, and just kept getting better throughout the whole movie. Unreal if you can take yourself to that place.
Again, though, isn't so much of it the fact that it was just the two of us, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, they crew around. There's no way.
Yeah. And I asked him, because I usually I'm pretty good with detecting improv. So, but I wondered if like if 1 or 2, 3 lines were improvised, but you said there's no improvisation, all written. I said that's fucking brilliant. Like that really is.
Yeah,
Like,
it's all
those lines
words,
were
man. It's
so
all
tightly
the
and
fucking writing.
Well,
Right.
the beauty of it is that since the conceit is it's this dude making a documentary, that we have these talking head scenes,
Mhm.
and he could just read off a teleprompter for some of it. Because man, I mean, those are some long ass hate screeds.
Oh yeah,
And
Yeah.
I think he told you I was just hitting him with him the morning he shows up. So it's not
He
like
was
he could
telling me
even
that sometimes he wouldn't
conceivably.
know.
He couldn't memorize it. If I gave it to him 2 weeks ago, and when a real actor who's a professional actor has to go memorize a script, that's like their job.
Yeah,
They don't got some other day job and all this shit they got to do while they memorize it. So props to like dinner theater fucking actors and shit, and like the fucking West Dallas Players or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm talking about? Just these little theater crews. Props to them, where they memorize whole plays and shit while they have day jobs. It's fucking impressive.
Oh, absolutely, very impressive. And
I couldn't do it. I can't remember shit.
Very talented people to do that. Like absolutely.
Yeah, I forget what I was talking about halfway through a sentence. I've done it like 5 times in this podcast. So
That's all right.
Oh, THC.
Yeah, that's what I do. I blame shit on in my videos. I just blame it on whatever movie I watch. If my camera fucks up, I was watching a ghost film. Oh, that was that fucking ghost.
Nice.
I'm not editing this shit. Are you serious? I'm 24 minutes in. I'm not doing this again. It was the ghost of the movie.
Right. You're watching Pumpkin. You're like, that fucking retard knocked my shit over.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Right.
a slasher. He just like, the killer tried shutting the fucking power off. He had a brain aneurysm and fucking just died on the spot. Power came back on. I'm good. Like, camera's fine. Like, whatever bullshit I think of, I make it work. It makes sense.
For sure.
You gotta have fun with it.
Stay light on your feet.
Yeah.
So did y'all name Chris after your brother or what?
No, I remember Chris was like, "Why the fuck is his name Chris?" And I was like, "I don't know, dude. It just feels right."
Well, it's kind of like the everyman name, kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Michael, did you enjoy torturing Sam?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Right.
Oh, God,
He
yeah.
loves playing the bad
Sam's
guys.
amazing.
When we did the waterboarding thing,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's great.
we really waterboarded him.
I figured that. I didn't think that.
And
If Christopher Hitchens could do it, fucking Sam Cozell can do it.
and we edited away from it, but I actually shaved his head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It
And that,
looked
that's
just like-
fun. That's just
Oh,
fun.
sure it was.
Yeah,
man. I'm
'cause
doing
it's
it
extreme,
Tuesday night,
yeah.
so the little bar, I'm shaving everyone's head. It's gonna be a blast.
Hitler mustache.
Fuck.
Yeah, there you go.
It's fucking
Make
crazy.
a whole night out of it.
His tiger balm, he'd take tiger balm and stick it in his eyes.
Yeah,
before the scene, so it was- he'd
tiger
cry
balm
and
in his
shit.
eyes so he would tear up and shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was all the way the fuck
It was
in.
like the fly.
Well, and dude, to his credit, remember when I first caught him in on this shit, I was like, "Yeah, man, you just getting murdered off camera at the midpoint of the movie. So all you got to do is like these 10 lines of dialogue,
Yeah.
and then maybe I'll shoot 1 or 2 of you in the car, like you're just doing a little wrap up. I just got out of there. Fucking, he's great in those scenes. I fucking love him. Those scenes you could argue go on too long, and I kind of know they do, but that to me was the cinema
with him.
verite of it again.
With the camera in the car.
Yeah, I kind of wanted them to go on too long because
didn't-
I just love him and his mannerisms and shit, and it just felt
Right.
more real.
Every person involved with this movie is just
Yeah.
100%
Well, getting to
more.
him again, though, think of his position where it was like
Yeah.
cut off at midpoint, he's gone. But then 4 months later, I'm like, dude, I need you to come back. What? Reshoots? What are we doing? Well, it's not reshoots. I need you to come back and get fucking anally raped with a 357 while wearing a wedding dress and blackface. Like, what?
Yeah.
That didn't make it in the movie, unfortunately. We had
That
certain
reminds
things people
me.
would
That
not
reminds
agree
me
to do.
so much of my prom. That's,
Yeah, right. It brings back the memories.
yeah.
So the conceit being, when he takes the dude and puts him through that little fashion show, it ended with him in the mom's wedding dress and Jack
Yeah.
with his black boot shoe polish, black facing the guy. So, and then like sodomizing him with that big ass 357 Magnum. And it's like he's fucking his mom. If you think about it thematically, it makes so much sense. He's fucking, he's raping. So women, his mom, the wedding dress, black folks. He was fucking going after everybody physically instead of just with words. So to me, it was fucking brilliant. And it's so hardcore and crazy, but they had to draw a line. He wouldn't do blackface, which I understand. But I was like, there is a distinction here. He's being forced to wear blackface.
Exactly.
He's being subjugated and shit. He is being enslaved
not
and
like
made
he's
to wear
trying to
blackface.
make fun and being racist.
But as an indie filmmaker who's not paying dudes much, I think $400 or some shit I had at that point to give him. It's like you put your whole social currency on the line and shit like that. So I didn't push it at all. I tried to get him. I was like, dude, are you sure? And he said no. And I'm like, fuck it. I got to be nimble. I got to just make the movie a different way because I'm not fucking trying to go to war for my art and shit. But in my heart, I wish that shit was in the movie. But again, for him to come do any of that shit though, he I mean, laying around in his underwear, getting his head shaved with fake blood and shit all over him for a couple $100 in this nasty movie. And he had some reservations about it. He didn't want his name on it for a bit. And at the very end, everybody wanted their name on it, except that guy who gave me the secret money and was like, don't tell anybody I'm associated with it. But he had his own fiscal reasons, you know. But the fact that everyone who was scared because of January 6th and all that shit came back and were like, fuck it, put my name on it. I was like, yes. That was one of the biggest wins to me, that everyone's proud to have their name on this fucked up movie.
That's awesome. Because he was telling me that you guys had a completely different like second half of the movie.
Yeah, man, it was just crazy.
We had to rewrite it all. That's fucking impressive right there. Just having, and it sounded great. That like how you were saying it, how the original was, like the ending of it.
The other version was cool, but it had a few problems. It just the second half of the movie felt missing some kind of human drama.
Yeah,
it was just more words. It's like, where do we go with this shit? So we had to bring him back. But that's the thing. The whole thing with filmmaking is creative problem solving. That's the fun part of it. When you run into some shit, you're like, dude, what do we got to do? Think on our feet. Oh, take this, do that. The MacGyver shit, you know?
No, it's exciting. It's fun.
And it's a lot more fun, I got to say, without a crew. I hate to say it because, man, mad respect to movie crews. Fucking my favorite movies wouldn't exist without movie crews. Below the line people are the shit. I love them. I just don't like working that way. I don't like when I draw. I don't like people watching. I'm an artist too. When I draw, I don't like someone watching me draw.
I like being alone, create like with music and stuff. Yeah. I don't like being like around people. Like I could play with people, write with people if I'm in band when I was in bands and stuff. But like if I'm just writing like for me and stuff, like I don't want to be around anybody. Like I feel a lot more comfortable just in a chill environment, just by myself. And then I can just really just let everything out.
Exactly. It's purely a comfort zone thing. Just having all these extra people, and it just gets stressful. And then, like the craft services, I hate bitching about this too, because that's like a sin if you don't feed your people and shit, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But it can so become about that shit. Like when you're in a little indie shoot, I've done this with short films and shit, and you got one person, you put them in charge of craft services, I guarantee they will be up your ass. You're sitting there trying to get this shot, and they're like, Should I call the pizza in now? Should I do this fucking? And just it becomes this whole logistical fucking ordeal. And I'm like, I don't give a shit.
The fucking pizza.
So I'm like, part of my whole vibe is how can I start making films in a way that avoids all that shit? What if I only do max 3 or 4 hour shoots? True weekend warrior movies. I'm not doing 16 straight days, 8-10 hours a day, 14, 16 hours a day, like some of these big budget movies. Fuck that. I'm going to do 3 to 4 hour days and say, crew, you got to brown bag it. Eat a fucking granola bar. Bring a peanut butter and jelly. We're not making this movie about feeding motherfuckers.
Donuts, coffee.
That's easy. I'll get that shit.
And wine.
Yeah.
But it's there at the start. There's no stopping and a break for eating. And then everyone's sluggish. You know how it is at the cubicle farm and shit. Everybody's fucking sluggish and checked out after they eat. So you have this big craft services break and everyone comes back like, all right, let's finish the fucking day out. Nah, just send them home. Come back tomorrow for 4 hours fresh.
When I would show up to shoot, there would be a couple of crawlers, coffee. If Jay was feeling especially Hollywood that day, there'd be like a sausage McMuffin with egg. Ooh, nice. And plenty of THC.
Got to catch you on a pleasant day.
The whole craft service thing for this whole fucking movie.
Much.
Yeah.
And occasionally a bottle of wine.
Yep.
Not a bad addition. Even though I'm not a wine drinker.
I'm becoming a wine guy. I've been working with these wine guys. I might end up making a documentary about some wine shit. But dude,
I worked for a wine distributor for a year and a half or so and stuff, which is funny because I hate wine.
I'm starting to dig it.
Once in my life, I had
Yeah.
a bad experience. I got sick and never drank it again.
This is my favorite wine on the planet.
Nice.
This is a Trader Joe's exclusive.
Kim Crawford shit you always talk about?
Sauvignon
No, this is
Republic.
better than Kim Crawford.
Nice.
It's called Sauvignon Republic, and it's only at Trader Joe's. And it's a Sauvignon Blanc. It's the best fucking wine.
Trader Joe's exclusive.
We're going to start recording our
I'll go check that
podcast
out.
in person together because I told Al I'm selling this house, or we just sold this house. I got to be out of here like Sunday. So instead of doing Zoom for our podcast, we're going to fucking start experimenting, at least doing it in person, me and him. I was like, dude, we should crack a bottle of wine and do some fucking wine tastings during
Hell
this.
yeah.
Nice. Whatever the hell you want to do. It's all about having fun and just creating.
We should put
Like
a shot
Johnny
of whiskey. Yeah.
Like Johnny Depp, I am a wino forever.
Yeah, the Winona Ryder tattoo. That's a fucking
Yeah.
classic story.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Johnny Depp was at Hunter S. Thompson's funeral and shot his ashes
Oh,
out of
Oh,
cannon.
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Hunter S.
Yeah, they're
Thompson.
buddies.
Actually,
Johnny Depp is the
I got a
shit.
poster of him right up on the ceiling. But Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh yeah, he's the man. Definitely a big influence. We talked about this film being very gonzo. Like we set out to make a gonzo
It
film.
feels
you know?
that way because it feels
Yeah.
so authentic with
Right.
him making this documentary of this crazy motherfucker.
Well, and then
that's
especially
a lot
when
of
it goes
how deep in he is.
color, just that
Yeah, that too. It's
that
amazing.
backcountry Terry Gilliam, Dutch angle kind of shit, you know.
Yeah.
The game show. That soundtrack, that shit. Antonio, if you watch it again, the game show soundtrack, fucking hilarious. It's Antonio just making saying something weird and playing it backwards. Try playing that piece of the film backwards. I think he's saying something.
He is. I mean,
It's saying Gull for Oscar. That's what it's
like we go. Like who said that?
that the music when it's played backwards.
Oh, like we
Kill
go
your
on
mother.
these things, Jay.
Or
And
Polish
you and I talk to guys like this, and they tell us how fucking awesome we are and stuff. But
Not enough.
eh,
Go on, I'm kidding. You know,
I hear it everywhere I go, Jay.
Right.
I don't know about you,
Go on.
but like honestly, the score for me,
Yeah.
Antonio's work is what
Like the glue that
Mhm.
perfect.
fucking
Well, yeah, because that was the last thing you were locking in, really. Everything needs to be locked. The picture locked.
he brings
for him to
all
come
those
in.
all those monologues that I do just ugh,
That's what I said. It's all
Just-
at the right moment. It's all just
ugh,
cued
it's
perfectly. It's never out of place for a second. Like the
And
score.
dude, it was pretty much like, here, ding, do what you can do with it. Just hand it to him.
yeah.
And we gave him very few tonal notes, like make
Yeah.
it feel kind of spidery and
make it feel
insectoid through this area. Maybe here we'll do something to play with the Patton thing. Because I don't know if you noticed the beginning of Jack's little TV show. It's kind of like that intro to Patton.
Yeah.
George C. Scott Patton, just
Yeah.
the shots he emulates. And there's that one bit where Gull's like, you haven't seen fucking Patton, you haven't seen whatever. You've probably seen those stupid Saw movies, right? But what was the other one? Do you
I
remember?
actually love the Saw franchise.
Yeah, I know. He's just talking shit to the filmmaker kid, you know.
Yeah, the
whole
first
fourth
Saw
one.
is brilliant. The first
The whole-
Saw just
Yeah, yeah.
the standalone is
Oh, it's
Oh
great.
yeah,
Totally.
I agree.
Totally.
I love the whole franchise, honestly. Like just the fact that they made it back to back every year for like 7 years straight and had no plans,
Yeah.
like from that first movie to make a continual story.
Tobin
They
Bell.
pay
is
so
fucking
much
unreal.
attention to fucking continuity,
Yeah.
and that's a huge thing with me. I get so mad when like a franchise changes an actor or actress like a third movie in, or like just little things. The thing is this way, next shot is that way.
Horror
like that.
franchises are interesting because so many times they're making that movie purely to exercise the rights because they're going to lose them if they don't make that movie again.
Oh, no,
Like,
yeah,
you'll
yeah.
get a new Hellraiser every once in a while and shit. So for them to keep continuity and shit, it's difficult sometimes.
Yeah,
So,
like,
and then it's interesting, like Chucky. Chucky's an interesting franchise. We just watched that documentary in
The
My Life
documentary
with Chucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called My
Where-
Life with Chucky, made by the daughter of the lead animator of the fucking like robot Chucky doll.
Where's
And-
it? Is it streaming?
We were jury for that film festival that we won. So Gull and I were serving on the jury, and we watched it as part of that, and we both picked it as the winner, and it won.
The year after we won.
Yeah,
We didn't vote for ourselves when we.
Right.
My Life with Chucky got the sloppy seconds.
But My Life with Chucky is on the festival circuit right now.
Okay.
And
It's
it's
good.
a really well-made documentary.
I can't wait to see that. And it's one of my favorite.
That's one of the things about it, though, is what the franchise, the way it evolved. And it kind of had continuity with what's his name? The dude who made it. Do you know? You a fanboy?
Yeah, Tom Mancini.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Just that he has been there all along.
Yeah. Everything he does is gold to me.
You just look at something like Friday the 13th, it just passes hands and shit. And people, and then even the new David Gordon Green fucking reboots and, Rob Zombie reboots and all this shit.
And the trilogy. I didn't like the trilogy at all. Halloween.
That's them exercising those rights, dude. Like, we got to make something fucking. What's up?
I've had a bottle of wine. I have to take a piss.
All right, it happens.
Just don't piss on the camera and piss in our faces. And
don't talk about me.
Do your thing.
We won't talk about you when you're gone. Don't worry.
We're gonna call the Oscars while you're gone.
That's when you prefer you talk about him.
We're gonna work it out.
He's not pissing at all. He's just sitting there, kneeling down, listening. To see if we talk about him.
Yeah, right. And then he comes back, and then he really has to piss, and he's like, "God damn it! Now I gotta hold this." Fucking...
You guys praise him so much, you can't help but spritz a little because he's so excited.
Dude, he's such a kind, fucking heart of gold guy. He really is.
I know, he's awesome. And the thing is, though, he's still got that raw ass comedian.
Oh, he does. I love it.
And when we hang out,
same sense of humor, it works so well.
Like I was telling Al, one of the things we want to do with Piss and Vinegar, our podcast, is we want to do green room shows at comedy clubs. Like, has any podcast really gone out of the green room of a comedy club as comics are coming and going on and off stage? It'd be fucking awesome.
That'd be
it's
awesome.
Like a revolving door of fucking dope people.
It's a great idea. Definitely try.
But that's our whole vibe. You think of Patrice and fucking Burr and those dudes hanging out in the Opie and Anthony days, Norton, just trying to make each other laugh. That's really the vibe. Is comedians trying to make each other laugh. They're gonna say raw, fucked up shit. It's the aristocrats.
They're all
man.
comedians, and they all have that fucked up sense of humor. So they gotta try to top each other and stuff.
That's why everyone's shocked. Bob Saget, Gilbert Gottfried. These dudes are foul as shit because they're trying to make comics laugh.
Yeah, and I forgot where I was going. I do that shit.
I consider us comics at heart. I think I'm kind of a comic at heart too. Just even the way we made this movie, it's very.
I've always said I wish I could be a stand-up comedian. I always wanted to try that out.
Try it, dude.
I
have zero desire to be on stage. It's not a stage fright. It's just like, people say like he's relationship phobic or whatever. It's like, no, you can just have a disdain for these things.
Yeah.
You can just not want to get married. You can just not be comfortable or happy on stage.
Yeah, or just not believe in the stupid old tradition, or just not. It's all up to you, your life.
Right.
You like and.
See, Gull has to get on stage. He wants people to applaud him and shit.
Yeah.
See,
he was
even came in and had to jump on top of somebody.
Michael, what were you telling me about the place in Brooklyn, the comedy place or whatever, when we were talking about?
Oh yeah, I have a buddy who's a comic in Brooklyn named Damon Millard, who's insanely fucking funny.
Yeah.
Who puts on shows. God, I can't remember the name of it right now. I've just opened my second bottle of wine.
That's all right. That's why I can't remember, but it'll come to you.
Where are you at? Are you in New York?
Punching Bag Comedy.
What gave it away?
Right.
Yeah, I'm in Long Island.
Not for nothing, but what the fuck gave it away?
Yeah, I know. What the fuck gave it away? I get that shit all the time, though. Yeah, you're from fucking New York, right? Yeah, I know. Like, I'm well aware I am.
Be like, no, man, I'm fucking Montana.
Yeah, just change the accent.
Did you live in?
He's just like Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling's Canadian, and he adopted this Marlon Brando New York De Niro accent and shit.
Did you live in New Jersey before? When you're
I would kill myself.
In Jersey.
Fuck you. That's Artie Lang territory, motherfucker.
I do love Artie.
Dude, Artie's a king.
He was always great. I mean, it sucks when he's gone through his whole career and
awful.
stuff.
Well, his whole life. His dad
exactly.
hurt people and themselves,
Yep. But he's so great, Artie.
So you guys are from Milwaukee, right? So did you know that Milwaukee is Algonquin for the good land?
Yes, I didn't know that. Thanks to
Thanks, Al.
Dana Carvey.
Alice Cooper again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Al.
Talking about him before.
Speaking of Native Americans, Last of the Mohegans is one of the greatest movies ever.
Oh yeah.
I fucking love that movie.
Great
So
flick.
the ending of the last like 20 minutes of that movie is some of the best filmmaking ever. And the score and everything. Oh, so good. Been watching that movie since like I was 5 when my dad showed me it. Absolutely awesome movie.
My kid is not into
Why I
this
thought
shit.
of it, you mentioned Algonquin, and I thought, oh, Indians.
Yeah, exactly. I try and push. Do either
not
of you have
Indians.
kids? Do you got kids, Al?
No.
Do you, JT?
I have a daughter. She is 8.
She's 8. Does she watch fucked up shit, or is it just cartoons and stuff still?
It's all cartoons for now.
Same with my kid. I got a 9-year-old.
Day long. SpongeBob all the time.
Which everyone's infantilized. We grew up watching raw shit.
Jay, you need to show Q Cactus Jack.
Yeah, I know, right?
I do remember when he was like 5, he came down in the
Like,
basement
come here,
with
baby, we're gonna
my
watch
wife.
this crazy movie.
doing laundry, and he just sees that severed hand laying on the ground and shit. Like, what the fuck is that? It's like, oh, that's just Daddy's job. Don't worry.
Like, I guess it is a little hypocritical though, because I was telling Michael that my first horror movie was Halloween on Halloween when I was 5 or 6, and then I saw the Friday the 13th series, and then I was just hooked on horror. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I was watching it back then, but then
it is crazy. I think our parents were just negligent, dude. If
Yeah.
you hang out with a 7-year-old, they don't need to be watching naked chicks get stabbed up and shit.
Movies and
Like,
just be like, yeah, take 3, chill out for a few hours and leave us alone.
yeah, I'm happy for it. Like, all comedians are,
Mm.
created with negligence and fucking abuse and shit. I'm happy you end up a more colorful person, and I have real fears that my son is going to end up one of these man babies, infantilized. Just, you know what I mean? Still only likes Marvel movies when he's fucking 40 or something. I'm like, dude, no, don't let it happen. But it's like he's coddled. He doesn't, I mean, he's got a crazy ass dad. I'll get him there, but
unless you fake your death and disappear, he's not going to turn out like that.
I think about that. Trust me.
It's a nightly prayer before bed.
Let's talk about the duality.
It's like, you got any of you David Lynch fans?
Lynch is a weird one for me. I respect him and shit, but he's not like my favorite. I get why people dig it. What's
He's one
that?
of my favorite human beings. Like
Lynch?
Yeah, he's such a fucking humble, great guy, man. He
Seems amazing.
He does like weather
amazing
reports
fellow.
and shit that he just does like every morning, the weather, like for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
JT, you remember the story I told you about pretending I was in that movie and that actress?
I guessed it. I said, there's no fucking way she knew it. I
She,
remember you. That's funny.
Olivia, is like best friends with Jennifer Lynch, David's daughter.
Wow. That's awesome. I love Lynch so much.
I had a chance when I was in LA and Olivia was taking me around to all the 12-step meetings.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I had a chance to have lunch with Jennifer and her father,
Ooh.
and I said no.
I don't know what to say, man. I take back every good thing
Because I'm an idiot.
You think like those women, like, oh, that one could have, the opportunities you passed up or whatever. That's Gull with like any Hollywood connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with them. I can meet anybody I want, but then I'm just like, oh, hey, how you doing? And then I walk the fuck away.
I actually really respect like actors or actresses that come from parents that are like famous actors or actresses and don't ride their coattails and carve their career out for themselves.
Have you seen the show?
Jamie Lee Curtis is a perfect example.
Oh, perfect.
Halloween could have had daughter Janet Leigh from Psycho plastered all over the fucking
Totally.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
She did it on her own and she killed it.
Have you seen the Amazon Prime original show The Boys, based on the?
I've heard of it. I haven't had a chance to watch a series in a while because we're fucking talking about movies all the time.
Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's son
Oh shit.
is the star of this show, and he's one of the 5 best actors I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Which characters does he play?
The lead. He plays Huey, the guy whose girlfriend is killed by a superhero that starts the whole
Yeah. I only watched the pilot.
Yeah,
That's their fucking kid.
Dude, I
He's
love Meg
the
Ryan.
guy who's holding the girl's hands when the guy.
Amazing. I didn't know
That's
that.
Meg Ryan and fucking Dennis Quaid's son.
Dude, Dennis Quaid's underrated as shit.
He's stunning in every fucking frame of this show.
Yeah, I gotta definitely watch it. I've scanned through it. I've passed it on Amazon.
It's my favorite thing that's happened since Breaking Bad.
Breaking
This
Bad
show.
is just fucking amazing. It's like
Racism only bothers
my
me
top
when.
3 shows of all time with The Wire and Sopranos.
Oh fuck yeah!
I
The
never
Wire's
got
so-
into The Wire.
Dude, fuck you. The Wire's so
Which one?
good.
Oh,
Michael, which one?
yeah.
The
I
Wire.
got like 6 episodes into The Wire, and I was like, yeah, okay, I get it.
I know
And then
people
I
who
stopped.
don't like it or can't get into it. I know a decent amount of people actually.
Well, that's funny though to stop at season or episode 6 because each season feels so distinct. Like the
Oh,
second
yeah.
season's like a total departure to
Well,
the
it's because
docks.
it's all compartmentalized, all
Yeah,
the different districts,
exactly.
that put together the city. Like it's just a fucking amazing show, man. And what the hell is his name?
McNutty.
No, the gay guy the gay black dude, the gang member who's like,
You're gonna take a shot at the king, you better not miss. That guy.
yeah. Why can't I think of his fucking name? He's like the fucking like most menacing person there.
Yeah.
And then he turned out being gay, and they were like
Omar.
making fun of him for that.
Omar Little.
Omar, that's it. Omar. I don't.
Michael
know
K.
why.
Williams. Rest in peace. A drink to
Yeah.
Michael K. Williams. Dude, Stringer Bell, fucking Idris Elba, fucking crushed it.
Idris Elba is great. I like him.
Idris Elba is my hall pass.
Yeah.
Your hall pass.
He's my gay hall pass, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I thought you were going to say Jeffrey Dahmer.
Amazing.
Jeffrey D. Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer Morgan.
That's something I gotta still watch too. Is the Dahmer show on?
Yeah, I've watched that yet either.
Is it on Netflix or? I think it's
Dahmer show. I've only seen like 4 episodes, but it's pretty.
Yeah, I got to start it and watch it finally.
It's solid.
It's historically inaccurate.
It
and-
is, which
They usually are with those.
Like
series.
10 minutes into the first episode, it was
Just the
historically
feeding shit
inaccurate,
out.
and I just couldn't anymore.
Yeah.
Like the guy he meets in the first episode is the guy who escapes and gets him caught.
Yeah,
They didn't meet in a gay bar. They
Yeah.
met at a mall.
right.
Yeah,
But the show has them meeting in a gay bar. The
I always
guy
wonder
wasn't
about
even
that.
gay. He was a hustler. He
I'm a writer. I don't
he was pretty
understand.
cool.
I've never
And
understood why
they
it'd be funny.
misrepresented it, and I was out of the story.
Well, the woman isn't really your neighbor. She lived in the
I've
building
seen that
next
they're
door.
doing
Right. Yeah, they overexpanded that woman.
that. Yeah, or they
That
try to
wasn't
make it
thing.
more, like theatrical and shit. But it's if you're making it, it's about a true story. And shit you're telling. Like,
Jay, are you using the big hug mug from the movie?
Fuck yeah, I am.
Fuck yeah, you are.
I had to take all my Gull props down, basically. Normally, I had the fucking gas mask right here, the fucking wheel,
that's all.
hockey mask.
It's another thing. There's some great fucking props in the fucking movie.
Oh yeah, that's what most of our budget was spent on. Honestly, was
Was
building
it,
that set. Yeah,
Great stuff.
thousands. Just I was scouring eBay and Craigslist. But dude, I'll tell you, here's a tip for indie filmmakers. Now you wouldn't use Craigslist, probably it'd be like Facebook Marketplace or Nextdoor, maybe.
Marketplace.
So much free shit.
Yeah.
Like that fucking sink, that nasty ass sink he pisses in and washes himself in and
Yeah.
everything. That serial killer body cutting sink. That was some shit. It weighs like 500 fucking pounds. It's like one of those cast iron fucking farm sinks. But I got it on Craigslist for free from some lady, and I just hired these 2 fucking mover dudes. I just called movers like, can you pick this shit up from this lady and bring it to my house for like $150 or something? And they did it.
And by the way, I was forced to piss only in that sink during the whole fucking shoot. I don't even know what the main floor of Jay's house looks like.
The only time we went up there was when we had like the makeup girl, Veronica and Sam, and everybody was there near the very end.
Yeah.
But yeah, he pissed in the sink. It was like subterranean method acting shit.
I was just gonna ask that. I was gonna say, was there like any type of method acting you did to like get into the mind state, or I guess what we were talking a little bit about, like just drawing from the past a little bit for certain things. But
Not really.
That came out of those conversations.
Like I said, I was just kind of doing the Alice Cooper thing where it's okay, now I'm gonna be this, and I'm gonna call you a cunt, and blah blah blah, and then we're done, and we just bullshit, and
fade back into reality.
It was just having fun. It was how you're not supposed to act. It was how you're not supposed to behave.
Yeah.
And there's a freedom to
Isn't that fun? It's like you said in Breakfast Club. Bender says being bad feels pretty good, doesn't it? It's one of the all-time great lines in acting, writing,
if you're
filmmaking.
not really like that,
Exactly.
being like that is.
It's the same
That's
with
what we were
politically
talking
incorrect
about,
jokes.
like Vader, Michael. We were saying that everyone wants to be Darth Vader, and no one wants to be fucking Skywalker. Well, I've wanted to be fucking the bad guys growing up, pretend playing and shit with friends. No, I'm Darth Vader, motherfucker. Like you ain't. I'm not playing fucking Skywalker. Like I'm Darth Vader. Like you always want to play the bad guy because it's just
so much more fun,
and it's something that you don't get to experience in reality.
Right. I'm a lovely
unless you're a
man
psychotic serial
in
killer
real life.
Right. But besides that, just to step out of who you are really, and to be able to step into a role and or just act a way that people would not normally be able to act or experience being like that in their lives for the most part.
Exactly. Exactly.
Fascinating to me.
Yeah, if I was like that, I'd be dead.
Oh yeah,
by now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I remember the only acting I ever did really was in high school. I took a drama class and it was fucking weird. In high school, I was two people. I was talking about the duality and shit that I encapsulate, but if I went in the first day of class and made my stupid ass jokes, and if some people laughed, I was a class clown comedian to the max in those classes where like teachers are kicking me out and shit. But if I went into class and didn't see my shot to make a good joke or just didn't land one, said one that didn't land, I was a fucking ghost in that class. Like if I didn't get the laugh, I was just two different people. So then somebody would see me in the hall, or I'd see two people like, hey, you know that guy Jay? Yeah, man, he's fucking crazy. Like, what are you talking about crazy? He doesn't say shit. I don't think he's ever said a word.
Are we talking about the same Jay here? I know what you mean though, because I was like a stoned class clown in high school.
Yeah. The point is you just don't know who anyone really is. Everyone's acting a certain way based on projecting who they want you to be.
Someone truly is like when they're alone.
Well, you can almost always assume people aren't really authentic. So when you get people who are social justice warriors, for lack of a better term, or whatever, it's like, I got to wonder about you. Are you that homophobic, gay, secretly gay Republican senator or whatever?
And that's why you're making such a big fucking stink about
Are you so anti-racist because you feel some negative shit in your heart and you're trying to process it, and externalize it?
I definitely think that's a reason for a decent amount of them.
Yeah, so just shut the fuck up.
I have a very short story about that.
Good, I love stories, and you tell them great. Go.
I was once tied.
Too late.
I was once tied to a woman for several years, and I say tied because
you were physically, literally tied.
I was essentially, and I lived in this area that had been gentrified.
Yeah.
We had this house, and we were 6 blocks from the inner city.
Okay.
But on the other side where we were, it was a bunch of liberal white people.
Yeah.
And Jay, you know who I'm talking about. It was who I was with when we were making the feature, when you and I first met and everything. She was on she was a local TV personality and stuff, and she was very well known and for being liberal.
Yeah.
And she would, in conversation, if let's say Brad Pitt and Samuel L. Jackson were standing together talking, she would refer to them as the white guy and the African American gentleman.
Yeah, I don't say that shit.
She went out of her way to not say black guy. She would say the white guy over there and the African American gentleman over there.
Yeah. It's never Caucasian
guy,
but in the privacy of our home, at the end of the night, she would say, I saw 2 black guys walking up and down the street. Make sure you lock the front door.
Yeah, it's
like these people are phony as fuck.
Oh yeah.
That's why I say you never know someone, like you were saying. You never know somebody of how they truly are when there's no eyes, there's no cameras, there's nothing. It's just them alone, and that's the true person that they don't want anyone to see.
And just almost assume that that's the case. So I think that's really the answer to the cancel culture kind of movement in political correctness, is just to say, shut the fuck up and don't use me to work out whatever issues you have.
Go figure them out on your own and leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Let me do what I'm doing because I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm happy. Fucking
That's
you go
that's
miserable.
the beauty of being a comic and
Yeah.
and to a certain extent an actor.
Mhm.
When you're not on, you can just be, and it's a stark contrast. And then people think you're doing this fantastic job acting.
I go. I feel
You know
it.
what I mean? Like you just be the way you're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then people are like, "Oh my God, you're so good."
Yeah.
And you're like, "No, I'm just being a dick.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just
This
being
Isn't it funny?
a dick."
Whenever I'm being a dick, like this is nothing special. It's like,
All of our favorite characters are dicks.
Yeah.
They're
yeah,
anti-heroes.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino just went on some rant I saw about
I love Terrence.
Bill Murray movies. And
Yeah.
fuck Bill Murray. He was more of a Chevy Chase guy because Chevy Chase was just a dick.
Yeah,
But
he
Bill
was.
Murray always had this fucking character arc. Scrooged, fucking Stripes. He starts as a dick, but by the end of the movie, Groundhog Day, he
he's
becomes fucking Mr.
revelation.
Nice Guy. And it's
Yeah.
funny. I never really investigated the Bill Murray mythos like that because you just think Bill Murray's fucking awesome. And he is. But when you really examine it, Tarantino ain't wrong. He's doing this fucking transformative arc, save the cat type bullshit to Mr. Nice Guy in all these movies.
Let's hear
But
Tarantino's
we
face.
don't like Bill Murray because of how he is at the end of Groundhog's Day with
Yeah.
Scrooged. We like him when he's a dick.
Yep.
So can we all just admit this?
That's why when he has
Because it's make believe. Fake dicks are awesome. This is going to sound like the end of Team America. Pussies fuck assholes and like
such a great movie.
like if it's a fictional dick, the guy is fucking awesome. You love him. You don't like him in real life, but you're allowed to like the fake version. It's not fucking hurting anybody, you know?
Exactly. Or it's the same with comedy. It's a joke.
Right.
It's sarcasm.
Yeah.
Like
Like when I do stand up, it's like an amplified version of what frustrates me in the world. Shit I wouldn't say in polite society.
yeah.
I don't necessarily not mean it,
Yeah.
but I'm saying it in a way like I'll say retard.
That's
on
none of their
stage,
business if you mean it or not.
But I'm not going to say it to a developmentally disabled
Yeah.
person.
That's the difference that people can't tell the difference of. That
Not
this
with
is
an
jokes
audience there,
that
at
you're
least.
telling. This is somebody saying right to a fucking, mentally challenged person's face that they're a retard.
I mean, if I'm the MC at the Special Olympics, I'm saying retard.
Oh my
But in
God.
real life, I'm not going to say it.
Awful.
I'll say mongoloid and waterhead, like a civilized person.
Exactly.
There
Dick.
you go.
Love
Or
it.
even what was it before Mongoloid? It was wasn't it like it was moron?
Moron is
And-
well, they all are actual different IQ like ranges, right? Like
Yeah,
a
it
moron
was
is this
idiot,
imbecile.
Different
imbecile.
Yeah, imbecile. Yeah. Let's go back to those days. Those are better
Right?
words anyway. Retard.
They are.
Imbecile.
I'm a
comes
huge Waterhead fan. I wish that would come back.
Well, we used it in Cactus Jack at least.
I noticed that actually.
Waterhead liberal fucktards or something. Yeah.
Just some of the fucking dialogue, all the dialogue. Just some
Did
of
you
the
guys
things-
laugh? Let me ask you
combination
that.
came up
Honestly,
with.
did Cactus Jack make you laugh much?
Absolutely. 100%.
Thank you.
100%.
Thank you.
That's just my humor. Like it's just I love that dark fucking humor because I know when it's
His
a
character's
fucking joke.
absurd.
I
Yeah.
know
He's,
when
Completely.
yeah, they're having fun.
here's the
It's
thing about
fake.
Cactus Jack. He has so much potential
Yeah,
as a
I thought
person.
that too.
He's smart. He's funny. He's fucking, but
determined.
he's just ruined.
Yeah, he's just a loser his whole life. I
Right.
never did anything with all that potential.
It's like Michael Gall.
But devastatingly handsome. I mean,
Unlike Michael Gall.
right? Acting.
And Team America, you mentioned.
Before you came on, I told him about the teeth, how we financed them and shit. It's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, look at those pearly whites. Look at them.
But you just said something revealing that was creepy in this conversation where you made the
Oh,
joke
good.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan was your other hall pass. And I'm like, you got Jeffrey Dean Morgan teeth. So the idea of you guys kissing and shit with
Did
your
you tell
Jeffrey
that
Dean Morgan
story?
teeth. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that all right? I thought it was
Oh,
common
yeah.
knowledge at this point.
Yeah, so anyone that
he's got
watches
some
this whole
beautiful
thing,
teeth.
Dude, he's
Oh yeah,
Jeffrey
he's-
Dean Morgan's a sexy motherfucker. I wish I looked like
Yeah.
him.
And here's what happens if you stick Jeffrey Dean Morgan's teeth on Jackie Earl Haley's head.
Yes.
You don't get Jeffrey Dean Morgan. You
Hey.
get Jackie Earl Haley with better teeth.
To your credit, I was gonna say you get a better looking version of Jackie Earl Haley.
It would have been a better Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Right?
I'll tell you that. 100%. You imagine him playing Freddy, like a warped,
Oh my god.
like Cactus Jack Freddy.
I feel like, and on the subject of him,
That would be great.
honestly, I feel like he did pre-transformation. I feel like he did a better job actor-wise as the Freddy Krueger who was being accused of these things.
You're talking about Jackie Earl Haley?
Yeah, that's the remake version. Right?
Than Robert Englund. Robert Englund, of course, his full-blown Freddy is the water.
But there's like some camp and shit to it, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But before, but like when he's being chased by the parents and he's trapped, like I believed he didn't touch a fucking kid. Like Jackie Earl Haley was too good an actor for that.
No, that's the problem. That was the
Have you seen Little Children?
Besides the like script and so many things.
Little
Jackie Earl
Children
Haley
is fantastic.
Which movie?
Little Children, where he actually plays a child molester with Kate Winslet. Fucking great.
With Kate Winslet. I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Dude, that's great. Dude, I fucking hate to say this, but I love molestation movies. There's so many good ones. Fucking dude, for real. The Woodsman with Kevin Bacon. Great fucking movie. No one talks about. Fucking Mysterious Skin.
That's
Amazing
a pull quote, by the
movie.
way, Al.
Anyone seen Mysterious Skin? Greg Araki?
I've heard
Fucking
of it.
amazing movie.
I've
That's
heard of
real
it.
good. Check that shit
There's
out.
so many movies that I just never got to in my life that I just like I hear them and then I'm like, that's right. I never fucking saw this.
Happiness.
I
Todd
love
Solondz,
Happiness.
Happiness top 10 for me all time. Happiness is one of those movies I show people, and like if they don't like it, we can't be friends and shit.
Yeah, it's not like a molestation movie, but kids.
Yeah,
that's a great fucking movie. That's
Telling
an
you.
underrated film. Yeah.
My
And
brother
the
used to joke that every movie I was like, "We got to watch this, man. We got to watch this." Ended up either having a bare male ass or dick in it. It's like 10 movies in a row I suggested, and I was like, "Sorry, like Bronson." Tom Hardy said, "These great movies got dicks in them." Sorry, it's almost like an ingredient. Like it makes like if you throw a dick in, it's probably a better movie.
Pour that in, and then the cake is done.
That's what Cactus Jack was missing. Damn.
Oh, almost not missing.
Oh.
We
If
shot.
Gull wasn't missing it, it'd be in it.
There were two
Ken Doll,
instances where Jay tried to get my dick in the movie, and one was he wanted me to do like a mockery of the tuck under scene.
Buffalo Bill.
Yeah,
I fucked him so hard.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
when he's talking shit about women as Jack, like he talks.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
But then also,
I know.
also in the scene where I'm standing at the sink washing my balls and my ass crack.
Yeah.
He shot me walking away from it and a side shot of my dick, which thankfully didn't make it into the movie. He was trying so hard to get my dick in that movie.
I'm telling you, man. Right now, I think we have like a 2.6. I guarantee we'd have at least a 2.8 on Letterboxd if your dick was in it.
I don't think you paid enough attention
For every inch of your dick. For every inch of your dick, we would have a point on Letterboxd. 2.8.
So we're losing points then. I'm French, man. We're not known for.
I've seen Claude LeBlanc's junk. You know Claude LeBlanc, Illuminati member, Claude LeBlanc. You've seen our podcast.
I was telling JT earlier, I alluded to the story when we were shooting our show of the Illuminati thing.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to save it for us, you and I, to come on to his show to tell the story. So I didn't tell the story. I alluded to it. So we owe him an appearance and that story, which is a fucking fantastic story.
It is good.
There you go. All right.
Here.
All right, guys. Well,
We should call it probably.
I'm gonna call it because I gotta get up in like 6 hours. So
Right?
yeah. All right. Well, I would very much like to thank Mr. Jay Thornton, Mr. Michael Gull, and of course JT for joining us tonight.
Anytime, you know.
Thanks for the support, fellas.
Sorry for crashing the party, guys.
Anytime, guys. You
Damn
guys
you,
man.
Gull! No.
unbelievable with this. And we will continue to.
Yeah,
keep
everybody,
checking
please go check out Cactus
anything
Jack.
else you guys do in the future because
Sweet.
I can't wait to see what you guys do next.
Yeah, go watch
Yeah.
it on Vudu or fucking go pirate it now that it's on Vudu. Watch it without the ads, whatever.
Let me just say this.
You said it,
Yeah, please.
Let me say this. Sequel coming.
Vudu has some fucking crazy
Give
ideas.
me like a side roll. I'll be there.
Right
Make
on.
me a crazy fuck.
Yeah.
I can play
JT and I
crazy
can
fuck
be
pretty
like
well.
the YouTubers that pop in.
Yeah. You're his
Yeah.
Lees. His
Yeah.
Lees, yeah.
Actually, was that you I was talking with? No, it was someone else. You know the movie A Quiet Place that John
Yeah.
Krasinski, I've thought of the idea of doing a video on that in complete silence without speaking for like a half hour, pantomiming the whole thing.
Nice. You know what my take on that movie was?
And pantomime, like Pictionary, not speaking.
If I made a Quiet Place, it would be a minute and a half long, and it would be the dad and his kid
Damn it, cut.
creeping through the woods, all quiet, and then one of them farts.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Like, there's no fart in this world.
Yeah, I know, right?
You fucking fart, you're dead. Like, they learn to not.
You think you see
They
a
got
lot
silencers
more
and shit?
farting and getting killed.
They made
Doesn't
suppressors. They screw into their asses and shit. It's stupid.
What the fuck happened to this show?
Whiskey, wine, 2.5 hours. All right, man.
Cactus Jack came. But yeah, no, thanks
All
so
right,
much.
guys.
Peace.
Thanks so much for coming. Peace
Take
out.
care, guys.
out.
Al, I'll
Go
talk to
watch Cactus Jack on Vudu. Everywhere else, go rent it. Watch
you.
it.
Absolutely.
Check
Go
it
to
out.
Piss and Vinegar.
I'm
Check
a
out
lot
Piss and
Piss and
Vinegar.
Vinegar podcast.
right now.
Yes, indeed.
See you later.